Hello, I'm Hansi Parchment. You're watching Talawa TV with Crystal Davis.
I think the uniqueness of the Reggae Girlz is they embody the national motto of Jamaica, which is out of many one people. So when you look at the entirety of the Jamaica squad, you have dark-skinned girls, mixed-race girls, girls who have black and Asian in them. You also have the homegrown players, so like your Bunny Shaw, your Konya Plummer, your Den Blackwood. So what that means in terms of from a grassroots perspective is girls who are born in Jamaica can look at a Bunny Shaw and hear that authentic accent and say, you know, if Bunny can make it, then so can I. Once you hear that authenticity, that raw Jamaican accent, they should be able to look at a Bunny Shaw who's now a captain to say, if Bunny can do it, especially if you come from the same community, the same parish as her, if she can do it, then so can we.
I want to give a big bless up to the Reggae Girlz out there. They ain't believe in us. John did. Reggae Girlz, keep winning, keep inspiring. I know you're going to be great out there, World Cup. Sedella Marley, nothing but love. Bless up from DJ Khaled.
And I'm representing for the Reggae Girlz. You know what I mean? Big up on yourself every time. Especially if you're qualifying for the World Cup back to back. You know what I mean? Sedella, big up yourself. One love every time. You know the thing go. Blessing off a flow like a river. Blessing off a flow like a river. What the Reggae Girlz do? Left them name night earth like a queen. Me have to big up the top soccer team. You know Massacre represent. Jamaica supporting every time. You know the thing go.
Hello, I'm Hansi Parchment. You're watching Talawa TV with Crystal Davis.
I feel like I'm from UK, you know.
See the moonlights on the town. Whoa, I'm getting ready. Talawa TV is in the town. Whoa, I'm getting ready. Got a corner on the telephone. Yeah, this is the Ocean of the Messenger, and you're watching Talawa TV with the host and best Davis. Take it away.
My Talawers, how are you all? Good afternoon, good evening, possibly good morning. All depends on where you are in the world. Welcome back to another live stream. So I sat with you guys, let's say a little under 24 hours ago, and I did not expect to do a live stream so soon. I'd usually only give you guys a live stream every other day. But as I've said on other live streams, there might be a time where I might just have to just pop up and give you guys a follow-up, and that is exactly what I am about to do. One moment there, guys, let me do something. Bear with me, guys. Yes, sorry about that. Let's see what you guys are saying. Blessings. The gatekeeper probably will be needing a gatekeeper. Maybe I'm going to be needing a gatekeeper. I've got fireworks going off in my background. Hopefully that won't come through the microphone, but I do have some fireworks going off in the background. And I think it's safe to say, as it is in relation, I should say, regarding the Jamaica Football Federation, the JFF, I think it's safe to say there's some fireworks going off in the four walls of the JFF and their headquarters. Happy November for you guys. It is still the 1st of November. For me, it is now the 2nd of November. I am firmly into my Saturday, so firmly into my weekend. I do have a question that I want to ask you guys before we dive into some topic of conversations there. When was the last time we actually sat and spoke about the Reggae Girlz, the senior women's football team of Jamaica, and pretty much had a positive conversation? I'm going to need you guys to answer that one for me. Let me know, when was the last time we sat and had a positive conversation about the senior women's football team of Jamaica? Let me know the answer to that. I asked myself that question before I came on air. I tried to rearrange a couple what do I want to call it now? A couple videos that I want to share with you guys, context-wise, trying to bring us all on the same page. So go ahead and answer that one there for me, guys. I have multiple questions that I want to ask you guys tonight. So yeah, first question for you guys there in the comment section, and those of you who are silently watching for whatever the reason may be, let me know, when was the last time we all had a positive conversation about for me, my favorite football team. I don't know if it's your favorite football team, but for me, the Reggae Girlz definitely my favorite football team. So go ahead in your own time, answer that question for me. All right. Before I get started, should I dive into it or should I hold those videos? I do want to bring us all up to speed, so I am going to be backtracking a little bit, going to be touching on some history. We're going to be touching on some history here as it relates to the Reggae Girlz. So my headline, I don't know if you guys have caught wind of my headline. Why is his position tenable? You guys are probably wondering who. We're going to be getting onto the meat of the matter, but we're going to be doing a bit of a slow build up. I'm wary that some of you guys there, apparently YouTube isn't triggering the notification bell for some of you. So we are going to be working towards a bit of a slow build up so that you guys there don't miss out on the main topic of conversation. A lot is going on, Blair Video. I hope you are well. I hope you're in good health. Gunner's boss, Trinity Rodman or Bunny. I don't really think we have time right now there, Gunner's boss, to speak about Trinity Rodman or Bunny Shaw, with the greatest of respect to them, to both players there, and you as well. I mean, thank you for your comment, but I think we have more pressing matters there that needs to be addressed and potentially ironed out. I don't think we're going to be the ones to iron out the most pressing matter, the elephant in the room. So guys, over the last couple of days, possibly maybe a week plus, we've been talking about the senior women's national team, the Reggae Girlz, I should say. And we've been looking at a couple of things, and we've been saying to ourselves, something doesn't feel right. Something doesn't sit right. I think even maybe last night, one of my special guests, Mr. Beckford, paraphrasing, I don't want to make things up, but I think, if I'm not mistaken, he also alluded to the fact that at present, something about this Reggae Girlz team just doesn't seem right. There's something that's a little bit out of tune, something that's a little bit offbeat when it comes to the senior women's national football team of Jamaica. And I'm sat here trying to make sense out of nonsense, been trying to do it for the last couple of days, and as I said, maybe even over a week now, of recent, that is. Obviously, we've been talking about the Reggae Girlz for years upon years, so that doesn't really count. I'm just talking about the present, still trying to make sense out of nonsense, and I think we might be onto something else. I think much of what we're now learning and what's been breaking news here in the UK, probably not breaking news for you guys. Well, don't you worry, I'm about to break some news for you guys so that we can all be on the same page as it relates to our Reggae Girlz. So backtracking, couple of the things that we've been fed over the last week or so, centering around the Reggae Girlz. I don't know about you guys, I'm still not buying this whole nonsense of passport limitations as it relates to Bunny Shaw, our, I think, captain, although I think there's some gray clouds. We're going to be talking a lot about gray clouds because it seems that where there is the Reggae Girl, there is Reggae Girlz, there seems to be a lot of gray clouds. So as I said, as it relates to Bunny Shaw, I'm still not buying this all nonsense of passport limitations. Not buying it for Kanye Plum and Iva. I don't actually know what the real reason is, but I just kind of feel like I'm so used to the Jamaica Football Federation, and now I can say also Hubert Busby lying to us, that whatever they're now feeding us and what they've said to us over the last week or so, for me, I'm not buying the nonsense. And also Alison Swaby, we spoke about Alison Swaby and the fact of the matter that whether they want to confirm it or not, whether it's official or unofficial, again, doubling down on some of the stuff that we've said over the last couple of days, the fact that she did not wear the captain's armband for the game against France does pose multiple questions. For me, that just translates to she has been stripped of the captain's armband. And for me, that does signal or indicate a couple questions. Potentially, for me, the way I'm looking at it, it does, in my opinion, signals the direction that the JFF wants to take with the team. I think this whole topic of conversation there as it relates to recruitment. In the squad announcement there, led by head coach Busby, he touched on the fact that we now have a 60 player talent pool to choose from. And at first you're probably thinking, wow, even me, I was fooled. I was like, wow, that is quite impressive, you know, applause all round. But since learning this latest bit of development as it relates to the Jamaica Football Federation, Dennis Chung, the General Secretary, and also Hubert Busby Jr., I do find myself asking other questions as it relates to integrity or lack thereof, and also dishonesty. I know kind of dishonesty and integrity seems to go, or lack of integrity seems to be the forever topic of conversation when we're talking about the Jamaica Football Federation, both for the Reggae Girls and also for the Reggae Boys. But going back to what I was saying as it relates to those heavy recruitment there that the head coach Hubert Busby alluded to, I'm now looking at that and I'm questioning the reasoning behind this extensive approach as it relates to widening the talent pool. And for what it's worth, I'm now looking at it and I'm saying to myself that I believe that this is the Jamaica Football Federation's way of potentially wanting to get rid of our core players. And a couple of the core players there who I think it does seem like they're either being mistreated or they're either being mistreated behind the scenes, internally, that is, or I could be completely wrong, and probably what I'm saying doesn't hold water. But a couple of those players there that I have in mind, definitely Alison Swaby, again being stripped of the vice captain's armband, Rebecca Spencer, obviously our goalkeeper, and also Bonnie Shaw. I think those three players there are the Jamaica Football Federation's three prime targets when I talk about wanting to potentially remove those core crop of players there and bringing the new out with the old, in with the new. I think it's something they've tried before. They've tried to kind of, you know, get rid of the core players there, the trailblazers, namely the girls who performed at the last FIFA Women's World Cup down under in Australia, and it just didn't come to fruition. Their plan basically just exploded. They didn't get what they wanted. They didn't get what they bargained for, and they pretty much had to just be humble and just recall the girls, because whatever they had in mind, it would just not come to fruition. So again, focusing on those trio of girls there, I do believe that they are part of the prime targets when it comes to moving and unweaving the core crop of Reggae Girls there. And I think for what I'm about to discuss as it relates to Hubert Busby Jr. and the General Secretary, Dennis Chung, and the Jamaica Football Federation, I think it's all now starting to make sense. Or for me, as I said on of a previous live stream, I'm trying to make sense out of nonsense, right? So last night I touched on, vaguely, I believe I touched on Busby and the fact that I don't see him standing up for the girls as he should be. You know, one of the reasons for that is the questionable treatment towards our vice captain Alison Swaby, who again, in the absence of our skipper Khadija Banishaw, unless they've had a change of heart and she's no longer the captain, in the absence of Khadija Banishaw, one would have assumed or one would have expected the vice captain Alison Swaby to step up and wear the captain's armband against France. Obviously, that wasn't the case. And I'm now looking at Busby and I'm saying to myself, now I potentially understand why you're not backing the girls. Now I understand why you're potentially not being brothers in arms as some might have expected you to be, right? And I'm looking at this and I'm saying to myself, Busby is potentially opposing or isn't opposing the idea of the Jamaica Football Federation stripping someone like your Alison Swaby of the captaincy armband. Again, she is the vice captain until further notice. We have not been notified if she's no longer the vice captain. But going back to what I was saying, I believe that head coach Busby isn't opposing the idea or hasn't opposed the idea because potentially the Jamaica Football Federation shouldn't have reappointed him. And perhaps he's probably feeling that he needs to be on his best behavior, you know, play up to them, charm up to them, accept whatever nonsense they put on his table, because quite simply, he probably should not have been reappointed. I'm going to be touching on why he perhaps should not have been reappointed or recalled to lead the current senior women's national team. I'm going to be getting onto that. I did ask a question. And I did pose that question, not that the man watches my channel, but if in case he does, I did ask on some live streams back, some nights back, Mr. Busby, Coach Busby, do you run your yard or do you run around it? I did ask that particular question. I'm also going to be sharing a conversation there that I had with a couple Reggae Girls as it relates to head coach Busby and whether or not they want him to be their head coach. Before I close off on the live stream, I am going to be touching on that particular conversation there. But before we dive into things, do I need to switch over and share my shared screen with you, or should I continue? Okay, let's go ahead and share my shared screen with you guys. Guys, in the comment section, I'm not ignoring you all. I just have a lot that I need to share with you guys tonight. So I'm trying to move as quickly as I can without boring you guys to death, right? So as it relates to the women's team, you guys still haven't answered my question there when I spoke about whether when was the last time we had a healthy conversation about the Reggae Girls? Gunners Boss here says sexist male ego and them wanting all the power is destroying the Reggae Girls. All right, let's stick a pin in it and focus on that. And I do agree with you. I think based on what is now being reported on the head coach there, Hubert Busby Jr., I think it's safe to say that grey cloud is now present. That grey cloud perhaps never went away. There is definitely a grey cloud now firmly hovering over the heads of the senior women's national football team of Jamaica. And for what it's worth, I think it's safe to say that it is damaging the women's program. I think it's safe to say that more lies and more dishonesty is being fed to us. And I am just going to go ahead and share that screen there with you guys. Let's go ahead and stick a pin in it and share my screen with you guys. Hopefully I've actually brought this article up, because if not, tonight's live stream will be a little bit pointless, right? So I did have my headline up. I guess I could go ahead and bring back up my headline. Is his position tenable? And I am referring to head coach Busby. Is Busby's position tenable as the current head coach of the senior women's national football team of Jamaica, or Reggae Girls? Now, here's the reason why I am asking this age-old question, right? I'm not sure if you guys have been reading the papers recently, but I most certainly have. And you should be looking at a article there in front of you. Pretty new as fresh as it can be. You can see the date there. It does say Friday the 1st of November 2024. So it isn't a dated article. It is still a fresh article. And the headline does read for itself. If you don't want to read it, I will go ahead and read it for you. For context, this one here is taken from the reputable Guardian. I don't know if you guys read the Guardian newspaper, but I do read the Guardian newspaper, and I do trust them because of their coverage. And again, for me, they are reputable, they are notable. The headline does read for itself. Brace yourself, this is a lengthy read, but I am going to go ahead and read the article, and then we're going to pause, have a couple conversation there with you guys. If you fancy jumping onto the live stream at any point, do go ahead and let me know. So again, keep the question in mind: is Busby's position as the head coach of our senior women's national football team, the Reggae Girls, tenable? The headline does read for itself. It says, Jamaica FA falsely claims women's team coach was cleared of alleged sexual misconduct. Hubert Busby Jr. has returned to his former post, with his employers saying he was cleared of allegations against him. that does not appear to be the case. The Jamaican Football Federation has reinstated the coach of its women's national team, falsely claiming he has been cleared of allegations of serious misconduct by FIFA's Ethics Committee. Hubert Busby Jr. returned to lead Jamaica's women's national team in May this year, 2.5 years after being suspended by the federation after a former player alleged he made sexual advances towards her while he was a coach of the Vancouver Whitecaps women's team in 2010 and 2011. Announcing Busby's return in May this year, the Jamaican Football Federation said in a media release that after careful considerations and due process, our technical committee has recommended the immediate reappointment of Hubert Busby as head coach of the senior women's national team. He was removed from the position when the JFF requested FIFA to investigate unsavory media reports originating in Europe. FIFA subsequently cleared Mr. Busby. And the article does continue by saying, Busby told media in Jamaica that it is important now to turn that page and sit in front of you, knowing that the vindication is there. He added that his experience was part of God's plan. FIFA, however, has confirmed to The Guardian that its ethics committee closed a preliminary investigation into allegations against Busby without reaching any judgment, and that it may reopen an investigation if it receives more information about the original claims. The Guardian also understands that witnesses to the alleged misconduct, including former Vancouver Whitecaps player Mallory Enoch, who made the initial claims against Busby, were never interviewed by FIFA's Ethics Committee. With regards to the allegation against Mr. Busby, the investigatory chamber of the FIFA Ethics Committee initiated a preliminary investigation into the potential breach of Article 23, protection of physical and mental integrity of the FIFA Code of Ethics. A FIFA spokesperson told The Guardian in a statement, "We can confirm that the preliminary investigation has been closed in accordance with the FIFA Code of Ethics and statute of limitation that applied at the time of the alleged incident. This is without prejudice that new circumstances may reopen this investigation in accordance with Article 85 of the FIFA Code of Ethics. A preliminary investigation may, amongst other steps, include collecting written information, requesting documents, and obtaining witness statements. FIFA takes any allegation reported to it extremely seriously. Any allegations reported to FIFA is handled in confidence and according to applicable rules and regulation to each case. FIFA sources with knowledge of the Ethics Committee with investigation into the allegation against Busby confirmed to The Guardian that the coach had not been cleared, but that the investigation had been closed because the statute of limitations had expired. The sources said Busby had been informed of the investigation status in a letter sent to his lawyer prior to returning to the Jamaica position. Busby's lawyer declined to comment on whether or not he had been cleared by FIFA, but Busby has consistently denied any sort of misconduct. The General Secretary of the Jamaica Football Federation, Dennis Chung, declined multiple requests for an interview or comment and was unable to provide evidence that Busby has been cleared of allegations by FIFA. The General Secretary has his papers in order, a Jamaica football spokesperson told The Guardian, referring all questions regarding Busby's return to the national team position to FIFA. The allegations against Busby were made in 2021 by former Vancouver Whitecaps player Mallory Enoch, who claimed that the coach attempted to solicit sex from her during a prolonged recruitment process while he was in charge of the Whitecaps women's team in 2010 and 2011. Busby has denied the allegations. Enoch told The Guardian that in Orlando in 2011, following a tournament they both attended, he convinced her to stay at a hotel because it was too late and too far for her to return home. When we got back to the hotel, he again didn't have a room reserved for me. Enoch said. It does continue by saying there that I had to stay in his room. This particular night, there were 2 beds, and I laid in my own bed, and he made his way to my bed. He was on all fours fully on the bed. He was definitely aroused. He tried to kiss and touch me. The light was not on, but I don't think he had his shirt on. I had to negotiate to get him off the bed. I told him I wasn't interested. Busby has denied the allegation. He has never faced criminal charges over the allegation. It does say here, I wish it on no one. Busby said of the allegations at a press conference in May, announcing his return to Jamaica to coaching the Jamaica women's team. But it is the past. I have said it was not my plan, but God's plan. Sometimes you just have to have faith and see things through. It is important now to turn that page and sit in front of you, knowing that the vindication is there. At the end of the 2011 season, Whitecaps players sent an email to club officials detailing a list of complaints concerning inappropriate behavior by Busby and his coaching staff. In 2011, Enoch also notified Whitecaps management of her interactions with Busby. She stated, "My biggest concern is this will be swept under the carpet. The club did not renew Busby's contract after management received the complaints, but players were told not to speak publicly about the issue." By Whitecaps management, Busby has previously told The Guardian he was offered a contract renewal by the club, but he was unable to agree to terms. In 2021, the Vancouver Whitecaps chief executive officer Axel Schuster apologized to Enoch for how the club initially handled the 2011 complaints. Enoch said in a statement to The Guardian, "I am sadly not shocked to see that Hubert is back on the field coaching women again. I was never interviewed by FIFA or the Jamaica Football Federation. There is evidence to support my allegations, and it needs to be investigated. Unfortunately, the harsh reality we have learned in the world of sports over the last decade is that governing bodies do not protect the players. They protect themselves and their coaches. My former teammates were grateful when our story went public in 2021. I wish what happened to me on no one. I risked my name and career speaking out. Axel Schuster told me personally the safeguards they were planning to put in place for the future of the Whitecaps would be a different environment. My wish is that FIFA and the Jamaica Football Federation also act to keep soccer a safer environment for players." So that is the article there. I felt that it was important to read it in its entirety for you guys, because I don't want to keep you guys out the loop. I do want to keep you guys on the same page as me, and we're probably going to be talking at length here, guys. So now that you guys have the context, right? What I also want to know is, what's the reason for the continuous lies and dishonesty? I do also want to know, but before I ask this question here, right? Before I ask, I'm going to keep the headline right there in front of you. Before I ask a question, I'm going to jog you guys' memory, and I'm going to play a video to you guys, all right? So that we're all on the same page, right? This is what I'm going to do. Because when I put out this video, let's just say I might have unintentionally rubbed some people up the wrong way. And mind you, I was just doing my job. The video that I'm about to share with you guys was distributed to journalists, reporters, content creators. So it wasn't as if I was being sneaky and somehow managed to retrieve the video. The video was given to everyone. Perhaps I was the first person, or at the time, the only reporter to actually put the information out there. But again, when I shared this video, definitely in hindsight, I seem to have pissed a few people off, and I can sense why now I managed to rub some people up the wrong way, or perhaps the right way. Let's go ahead and watch that video there for you guys. And you guys are definitely familiar with this video, okay?
I'm Hansi Parchment. You're watching Talawa TV with Crystal Davis.
Jamaica Football Federation have had a kind of relationship now that they never had before. And I tell you, these three entities have knocked heads together. And what is the end result? We have created history. And a number of times people would say things, probably not derogatory, but say things about each of these entities that are not deserving. JFF don't do nothing. Marlins get more credit than their due. Reggae Girlz don't do anything. Not true. Not true. And I'm saying this publicly and I hope I'm being taped. That each of these entities would have given as much support that would have needed us to qualify for this tournament. And I personally would have made some decisions that were extremely unpopular, very unpopular. But those decisions have been vindicated right now. Because again, I say we have created history. When I look at my coaching staff, their achievement, and we seem to take it lightly. And we sometimes seem to think that maybe it's just another achievement, but it is not. And people from all over the globe are appreciating what we have done, and probably we are not even showing the level of appreciation. We sat about it.
You've done the pattern.
No, I got a call for the last maybe.
I'm John Barnes, and you're watching Talawa TV.
So let's pause it, right? I wanted you guys to just watch that video again so that we can all be on the same page, so I could jog your memory, because sometimes we forget these things. And when I was putting together tonight's show, there's multiple things that I looked at. I looked back at this video. I went and fetched previous articles, just again for context purpose and to keep us all on the same page. Now, when I put this video out, again, it was presented to myself and other reporters, other content creators. It wasn't me knocking on people's doors. I don't really have the courage to do that. I don't like to be a burden to people. I don't like to ask certain questions. I don't like to annoy people. So that is one of the reasons why I sit here and I give you guys my opinions. And also, I don't like people being in my ears. I don't want people to shape the way that I think and in turn subsequently control my content, right? So when I put this video out, I put it out, if I'm being honest with you, because it really irked me with what Mr. Ricketts, the president of the Jamaica Football Federation, was saying, because whether he meant it or not, what he was saying translated to me that he was taking full credit for the Reggae Girlz back-to-back successful World Cup qualification. So that was my reason for sharing that video. And to be honest with you, I did not notice the person in the back. I'm going to be completely honest. I did not notice the person in the back. One of my subscribers, I think it was Mr. Scott, pointed it out to me, and I think he commented at the time when the video went, is that not Coach Busby in the back behind where Mr. Ricketts is stood? And I looked at it and I was just like, oh, it is him. And it caught me by surprise, because I was thinking, okay, so in hindsight, I was thinking to myself, I'm not going to retract that video. I'm just going to leave that video there. But in hindsight, I was thinking, potentially I might have been hoodwinked. Because in hindsight, I look at that video and I'm saying to myself, that video is probably distributed to the media to create a stir. And that stir was, at that time, in my opinion, Hubert Busby should not have been allowed nowhere near the girls, because for what it was worth, from what we were told and for what we knew in terms of the latest development and updates, he was under investigation, linked to that article there that I shared with you guys. So for me, in terms of doing things the proper way, if you're talking about due diligence, that's something that we're going to get onto. If you're talking about due diligence, if you're talking about safeguarding the girls for what Coach Busby was accused of, again, I did touch on that in the article and we touch on it once more. To me, he should not have been in that room. That was like my first concern when I went back, watched the video and spotted someone. I don't know, you guys can clarify it for me. Maybe it's not Busby. It does look like him. It definitely looked like Coach Busby to me. So for me, again, there goes the elephant in the room. So I said to myself, why was he allowed to be in the room? And this is where I have to criticize Mr. Michael Ricketts, because I'm thinking, who is the captain of the ship here? Like, do you, a bit like the question that I asked of Busby, do you run your yard or do you run round it? I can ask Mr. Ricketts the same question. Do you run your yard or do you run round it? Because you should not have allowed that moment to happen. You should never have, and this little joke about, I hope I'm being filmed, perhaps there was no joke to it. Perhaps he was being dead serious. I do hope I'm being filmed because, hello, you can check out the person behind me who perhaps should not be in the room. So my criticism there definitely lies with the Jamaica Football Federation. I do have to ask, why did you not put your foot down there and then? You should have known that he had no business being near the team. There was some speculations floating around in the air when Busby was at the time suspended by the Jamaica Football Federation because of what he was accused of. And even whilst he was being apparently investigated, there were some reports there, people saying that he was still being made to be around the team. And to me, that is just despicable. I'm still trying to wrap my head around the fact that you guys have each and every one of you stood back and allowed him to be around the team pending investigation. That didn't sit well with me then, and it definitely don't sit well with me. And I'm going to take a moment to cross compare two situations that we looked at in terms of the last year, and I can't make sense of it. But hopefully you guys there, maybe you're much smarter than me. So hopefully you guys can make sense out of nonsense, because I've tried to do it and I just can't seem to make sense of what we know of the current situation. If you're just tuning in, the headline does read for yourself, taken from The Guardian there, where it clearly says in black and white, Jamaica FA falsely claims women's team coach was cleared of alleged sexual misconduct. Now, the next part that I want to re-jog you guys' memory is to do with the whole recruitment process. And this is where you know that hypocrisy definitely is rife when you're talking about the Jamaica Football Federation, when you're looking at Dennis Chung, and when you're looking at the potential recruitment there of the head coach. Or if we look back over maybe a year ago, there is some ongoing conversations there in relation to who will be the next Reggae Girlz head coach, right? There was some whispers there, some rumors potentially that was being put out in the media. Apparently they interviewed a woman. I'm not really sure who the female candidate was. I kind of feel like that was just a lie, probably just them trying to keep us happy. But what we do know is that they also interviewed and wanted to hire the former Sheffield United gaffer Jonathan Morgan. Now I am going to be talking about Jonathan Morgan again for context purpose, because I think it makes sense, because I'm trying to make sense out of nonsense. Now we're going to stick a little pin in it, and we're going to talk about Jonathan Morgan, because I want you guys to tell me, because I'm a little bit slow, I want you guys to tell me what's the difference between what Jonathan Morgan was accused of and what Hubert Busby Jr. is being accused of, because clearly there is a question mark there and the case could potentially be reopened, right? So I want you guys, because clearly I'm not the brightest spark, I want you guys to help me to understand what Jonathan Morgan was accused of and what Hubert Busby Jr. is accused of. What's the difference? I want to know what's the difference and why it's okay to not appoint one but appoint the other. All right, so I need you guys to help me out with that. So I'm going to go ahead and change my screen. Let's go ahead and fetch another article. Don't worry, you don't need to do the reading. I'll do the reading for you, okay? I can't see you guys there in the comment section. I will turn my attention to the comment section in a short while, but just allow me to get through this bit. Clearly, this one here is taken from the BBC Sport. Again, reputable as is the Guardian, and the headline says, Jonathan Morgan, Sheffield United sacked head coach. This was a coach there that the Jamaica Football Federation apparently reportedly was potentially this close to appointing as the new head coach of the senior women's national team where the Reggae Girlz are concerned. All right, so for context purpose, let's jog our memory. It says here, Jonathan Morgan has been sacked as head coach of Sheffield United Women after new information came to light about his conduct before joining the club. It does say here, Morgan was appointed in February 2023, having been Leicester boss from 2014 to 2021 and then Burnley. His former management agency ended their relationship with him and said in a statement it had learned new information regarding Jonathan Morgan and a relationship with a player. So again, help me to understand here, guys. Please do take your time to help me to understand. It does also say here, Luke Turner takes over as interim boss. United, who are 8th in the Women's Championship, said in their statement, Sheffield United can confirm that head coach of Sheffield United's women's team, Jonathan Morgan, has departed the club due to no new information that has come to light within the last few days with regards to Mr. Morgan's conduct before arriving at Bramall Lane. The club has reached the conclusion that Mr. Morgan's position is no longer tenable and his employment with the club has been terminated. Tongue-tied management, who had represented Morgan, added the termination of his contract is a critical measure in preserving the integrity of our agency. We are absolute in our view that safeguarding standards and process should apply to all athletes, be they male or female. Morgan stood down from his role at the Blades in October after a formal complaint was made over his alleged conduct and behavior. Following an investigation into the conduct and behavior, he was cleared to return to work on October 2nd. In December, an investigation into the events leading to the death of former United midfielder Maddie Cusack found no evidence of wrongdoing at the club. Last month, the Football Association launched its own investigation into the circumstances leading up to her death. It is understood United's sacking of Morgan is not linked to any Cusack's investigation. Cusack, who had played for the club since 2019, died in September at the age of 27. Police did not treat her death as suspicious. Cusack, the first player to reach 100 appearances for the Blades, also worked as a marketing executive at the club. Despite there being no evidence of wrongdoing, the Blades have said they will consider how process and policies may be improved. So again, hopefully you guys caught a wind of what was just said, and I do want you guys to help me to understand what is the difference between the two and why one was politely, or I don't know if it was polite, I'm not sure how the conversation had went, why one was refused the opportunity to coach the Reggae Girlz and the other was reappointed. I'm not sure that I'm able to gather my own thoughts and make sense out of this. I will say, for what it's worth, because of the accusation and the nature of the accusation, that it is again, given the nature of the accusation and also given Jamaica's societal ties to the accusation, it does make sense, the decision making there by the Jamaica Football Federation to not hire Jonathan Morgan, given the nature of the accusation, does make sense. But I would assume, given the nature of what Hubert Busby Jr. is also accused of, then it would have made sense not to reappoint him. Maybe I'm not looking at this in the right light. Maybe you guys could help me balance things, right? So again, guys, do feel free to share your comments there in the comment section. I will be turning to you guys in a short while. So for me, again, why is it okay to not appoint Jonathan Morgan, but absolutely fine to reappoint Busby? That is something there that I want you guys to answer for me, because I clearly can't answer it for myself. Now, I've given you guys a couple evidence there in terms of the article, the report, dated article, and also the most recent article they're taken from The Guardian with the headline that pretty much sits in front of you. Um, and I think for what it's worth, it does poke a question. And I'm looking at the situation there surrounding Hubert Busby, our current head coach, and it's making me wonder: is he above the law? Can he not be checked? Because we have seen in the past, I have discussed this with you guys, where he publicly retired, announced the retirement of Nicole McClure, having not had a conversation with her. Now, not having that conversation is to my understanding, because back then when he announced her retirement and I had sent her a message basically congratulating her on her retirement, it was news to her. It was news to her. A bit like how when we looked at that press conference there, that post-match conference with the captain for the France match, Vian Samson, and paraphrasing, she basically was surprised that she would be wearing the captain's armband. So clearly communication is probably an issue where Busby is concerned. I think communication has been an issue with previous head coaches, but for what it's worth, it does seem like communication is an issue, and it does seems to be. Now I'm looking at things in hindsight, I'm wondering, like, is he above the law? Is there anyone there that's asking questions? Is there anyone there that's making sure that the I's have been dotted and the T's have been crossed as it relates to his reappointment? Now, the age-old question that I've always asked as it relates to safeguarding our footballers is due diligence. I think it's safe to say, if we're going to be leaning on assumption, I do want to ask the Jamaica Football Federation, or maybe ask you guys in the comment section, does the JFF conduct due diligence before appointing their head coaches? I think history and currently, for what it's worth in terms of what we're looking at with the article in front of us, it would suggest that they don't conduct any due diligence. It does seem to me, as it relates to Hubert Busby, that they potentially reappointed him based on word of mouth, as opposed to communicating with FIFA and asking them about the outcome of the investigation and whether trying to iron out if or identify any complexities. It doesn't appear that they seek any clarity with the with FIFA. And that just pose another problem, because to me what that translates is that they potentially, because of the length or the time in which it potentially have taken them to search for a new head coach, or what it's worth, my understanding is that they wanted Jonathan Morgan. Potentially they probably reached a point with that recruitment process where they probably just got a little bit fed up and just said to themselves they just want to recruit someone, and maybe that is how they came to an agreement to reappoint Hubert Busby Jr. And if that is the case, that does tell me that they are lazy. They're lazy and they could not be asked to reopen the recruitment process. And in terms of due diligence, this is where the hypocrisy of the General Secretary Dennis Chung comes into play, because Dennis Chung, for me, it seems like he's lying to our faces, guys. It seems like he's telling a bold and barefaced lie. And again, for us to all be on the same page, why not go ahead and bring up another article there where you can hear from the horse's mouth the man himself, Dennis Chung. Now, this is a article here. There's a lot of pop-ups. Let's go ahead and close a couple of these pop-ups. This article here is taken from the Gleaner, which you guys can see in front of you, or I hope that you guys can see it. And it says JFF General Secretary bats for Busby. Right, so let's go ahead and read the most important bit here, taken from the article, the report here. It does say this one for context came about, it was published on May the 13th of this year, 2024, and it does read as follows: the reappointment of Hubert Busby Jr. as Reggae Girlz head coach has raised questions after he went under a cloud following allegations of sexual misconduct in 2021. However, the Jamaica Football Federation General Secretary Dennis Chung contends that Busby was cleared of all allegation and should not suffer because of an accusation made. And it says here, anybody can make an allegation against anybody, but the fact of the matter is that we live in a society where you are innocent until proven guilty. Do you convict somebody for an allegation that was not proven. You cannot do that. There has to be evidence that something was done. If something arises that points to that evidence, then certainly JFF will act as it has done in the past, Chung said. It does continue here by saying in 2021, I've already spoken about the case and the allegations. I don't think I need to touch on that just yet. So I'm going to just scroll past this and I'm going to go ahead and speak about the rest of the quotes there, as said by the General Secretary, Dennis Chung. He also says here, I should say, he noted also that time has passed and that the JFF Technical Committee decided to revisit the former coach's record with the team before recommending him for rehire. It does say here, it has been over 2 years and it is not something we should have done. He said, my apologies. It says here, it has been over 2 years and it is not something we would have done without due diligence. The technical committee decided to look at it, and based on his performance and his relationship with players, the technical committee made a decision and made a recommendation to the board. We think he'll give them the proper technical guidance as we had seen before. Now it's quite interesting. I think the key words there for me is due diligence. I will read that quote there again from the horse's mouth. The General Secretary Dennis Chung, clearly written in black and white, unless he was misquoted, which I highly doubt, because by now, this is a dated article from May of this year. Surely he would have corrected the article, asked for the quotes to be corrected. It does say here, it has been over 2 years and it is not something we would have done without due diligence. So for me, the big question there to ask for the General Secretary, for me, I would like to know what does due diligence look like in his books, and adding to that, what method was used to execute his due diligence checks. Because if he did do his due diligence check, then that article, that fresh article there in front of you, written by I should say published by The Guardian, shouldn't be. Right? That article shouldn't be. Or if he had done his due diligence, then having read the article there by The Guardian, Busby should not have been reappointed. So I do want to know from Dennis Chung, if anyone has his number, perhaps give him a call and please ask him what method was used to execute his due diligence check. What does due diligence check look like in his books? And also, what was the outcome of his due diligence check on Coach Busby? We do want to know what those due diligence checks look like. We do want to know the findings of your due diligence checks, because we're sat here trying to make nonsense sense out of nonsense. And it's a little bit difficult to do that, but this is like the new norm with the Reggae Girlz. There's grey clouds and there's a lot of nonsense going on, and we're trying to understand what is going on. Now, I think it's probably safe for me to say, I did say to you guys, if you guys can remember, that we're going to be having some uncomfortable conversation. Trouble is, I didn't think we'll be having those uncomfortable conversation so soon. I do remember on last night's live stream, I think I scratched the surface and said to you guys there that I think that Busby has unintentionally positioned himself where he's going to be compared to previous coaches. And here we are, less than 24 hours later, I am now being forced to speed up those conversations, bring them forward and compare him to previous coaches. And I'm looking at him and I'm thinking to myself, for what it's worth, remember there, guys, the article, parts of the article, clearly it is indicating that the accusation there can be reopened, right? I can go ahead and give that another spin for you guys. So for what it's worth, given the nature of the accusation, I think it's high time that we just move on. I don't know about you guys, but I'm sick and tired of having these types of conversation. I think it is unfair and and it's a slap in the face to the Reggae Girlz. I've reached a point, I don't know about you guys in the comment section, where we just need to say to ourselves, out with the old, in with the new. Simple as. I think we need to just get to a point now where we remove previous coaches and backroom staff who have worked with the team before, irrespective of those successful World Cup qualification campaigns, because this cannot continue. We've reached a point now where we just need to start from scratch, from fresh, and we need a new head coach who have no ties to the team or players. And I know, or maybe even the JFF. So for me, no ties to the team, no ties to individual players or the JFF. Now the latter is probably difficult, or or maybe not even the latter. Potentially, it's probably going to be difficult to find and recruit a head coach who have no ties to the players, because they might have coached them at club level and so on. But that is something that I think we need to be looking at, because these type of conversation cannot continue. Now, as it relates to the comparisons, I'm sat here, and even before today, I actually was looking at Hubert Busby and the way that he's behaving, and I was saying to myself, you've positioned yourself in line where I can easily compare your actions or lack thereof to two former Reggae Girlz head coach. The first being Vin Blaine. We're going to talk about Vin Blaine. I know some of you don't like Vin Blaine, but we are going to talk about him for context purpose. I can compare him to Vin Blaine, and I can also compare him to Donaldson. There's some clear conversations there, cross conversations that can be had as it relates to those three coaches there. And I am looking at Vin Blaine, and whilst we're at it, let's just re-jog our memory with Vin Blaine, right? Let's get another article there. Vin Blaine, former head coach of the senior women's national team. I don't think I need to jog you guys' memory. We all know how this one panned out there with the former gaffer. Written in black and white there, it says Vin Blaine resigns as Reggae Girlz head coach. I did highlight this bit here because I'm not going to actually dive too much into the report, though it is a relatively short written piece. This one here is taken from, again, reputable Sports Max, and it says here, Vin Blaine has confirmed his resignation from his position as head coach of the Jamaica senior women's football team. The former Harborview head coach took the decision to walk away after 19 Reggae Girlz squad members signed a letter to the Jamaica Football Federation president, Michael Ricketts, asking that he be replaced. Now, interesting, here's where I draw the comparison, because I do remember before this came to fruition, correct me if I'm wrong, maybe I'm making things up, I don't think that I am, but I do remember Vin Blaine paraphrasing, saying to publicly that if the girls don't want him, he will step away. Right, he said if the girls don't want him, paraphrasing, might not have been his exact words, that he would step away. So what that translated to me, and I could be wrong, what I'm saying probably doesn't hold water. It is open to interpretation. Football is a game of opinions at the end of the day, but I think what that translated to me is that he is putting his country first. He could have been stubborn and said, I don't care what the girls want, I am here, the only one that can get rid of me is the Jamaica Football Federation. Now I'm looking at Busby and I'm saying, are you willing to do what Vin Blaine did? Do you, Coach Busby, care equally about putting Jamaica first, as Vin Blaine quite clearly has or done in the past with regards to his resignation? And I do say that because clearly there, let's remind ourselves, the girls, 19 girls, as it says there, signed a letter. Is that what it says? 19 girls there, signed a letter to the Jamaica Football Federation, basically saying that they don't want you to coach them. Now, I know from the horse's mouth, I actually was speaking to a couple Reggae Girlz, funny enough, about Vin Blaine, and just some conversation around Vin Blaine, and at the time, Vin Blaine being their head coach and so on. And out of nowhere, a couple of those Reggae Girlz said they do not want you to be their coach. They do not want Busby to be their coach. And I was taken aback by that because I was like, I didn't even ask you whether you want head coach Busby to be your coach. I didn't ask you about Busby, but I was again taken aback that you shared that information with me that they don't want you. Now, whether you want to believe me or not, that's down to you. Whether you want to go ahead and ask the girls if they still want you to be their head coach, by all means, do whatever you want to do, knock yourself out. But as I said, it did come from the horse's mouth. A couple of the Reggae Girlz don't want you to be their head coach. So are you going to act in the same way that Vin Blaine did and said, okay, you don't want me to coach you, I'm going to step aside? To be honest with you, I don't think you need the girls. You need to be turning to the girls and asking, do you still want me as your head coach? I think you know what you need to be doing, given that report they're taking from the Guardian. I think you know that your time is up and you do need to step aside, because these negative conversation is it's humiliating. It's humiliating and it's painful to talk about. I couldn't wrap my head around what I was reading. It took me a while to start my live stream because I just kept on like sitting back in my chair and thinking like, what exactly is going on? What is going on? Where is the due diligence? Is the due diligence being done to protect and safeguard our Reggae Girlz? I think not. And I am dreading to think what the due diligence or lack of due diligence is like lower down the ranking there, where the Reggae Girlz are concerned. Like if the senior women's if it is to be believed that the senior women's national team, that there is no due diligence check being done for the senior women's national team where the Reggae Girlz is concerned, then I could also believe that the same isn't being done for the younger girls. So I could also assume that those young teenagers there are potentially not being safeguarded. And I don't even want to allow my mind to wander, because some of the things that I probably come up with is probably unimaginable, right? But if the senior team isn't being safeguarded and due diligence check isn't being done, that in turn does make for a scary thought as it relates to the younger Reggae Girlz, right? So again, I do want to be asking Busby, do you care equally about putting Jamaica first, as we have seen with Vin Blaine? I don't care whether you guys like Vin Blaine or not. That's not the point. The point is, he did say, if they do not want me, I would resign. And he has done so. Again, from the horse's mouth, couple Reggae Girlz have told me they do not want you to be their head coach. Whether you believe that or whether you want to believe that or not, I'm not here to convince you. I think my audience know me by now that I'm not just going to say stuff for the sake of generating views and clicks. That's not my style, right? And for what it's worth, I think that question has already been answered. Does he care enough? Does he care equally about putting Jamaica first? I'm going to jump the gun and say no. I'm going to jump the gun and say no, because the evidence clearly speak for itself. I have so many questions that I would like for Busby to answer or ask himself. Like, Busby, be honest with yourself. Like, can you see yourself being appointed as a head coach to a NWSL team like the former Reggae Girlz gaffer Donaldson? Can you see a NWSL team appointing you as a head coach in the same way that they did with Donaldson? Would a NWSL team hire you? That's what I want to ask yourself. And also, why are you sticking to the Jamaica senior women's national team? Why are you sticking to Jamaica and our football program? What is it about them that makes you say, you know what, this is where I need to be? Is it because the Jamaica Football Federation, no secret, they have no standard? I've already said, if they were a car, they will be automatic, fully automatic. Them not have nothing name standard. Is that the reason why you itch up and you get close to them? Is it because one can sit here and say that there is no real policy that safeguards the Reggae Girlz? Is that the reason why you feel like, you know what, this is the place for me, this is home for me? Do you feel that working with the JFF keeps you under the radar? These are some of the questions that I would love for you to ask yourself, and answer those questions if you must, because I, for one, don't have the answers to those questions. I don't know what you guys have made of what I've said in the comment section. Do feel free to let me go ahead and actually put the put the link to tonight's live stream down in the comment section. You guys can, you know, feel free to jump on at any point. I've just gone over an hour, so this one I managed to get through the bulk of the live stream in just over 60 minutes. Kind of surprised myself. If you want to jump on the live stream and join me in the studio, you're more than welcome to. Let me just go ahead and reiterate my rules. Just keep it respectful. Don't make it personal. That is to respect myself, respect the guys in the comment section, respect the topic of conversation. So that goes for, you know, extend those respect over to Chung, Busby, Mr. Ricketts, and as I said, as always, the Reggae Girlz as well. I think we can dislike people, dislike their ways without disrespecting them. So if you want to come on and share your thoughts, I'm all ears. I'm open to listening to you guys' conversation. Just remember to keep it respectful. Okay? So yeah, guys, let me know what you guys make of what's been said. Let me I took myself out of my own studio. I do tend to do that every now and then. I was supposed to go back a step. I went more than back a step. Now, I don't actually know where the hell I'm supposed to go. What did I do just now? Am I on the right tab? I'm doing something that don't make sense. Hold on, guys. Let me try and see. Oh, okay. Okay. So I clicked something and it took me out the studio. All right. So we're going to bring, I think he's a friend of the show. I think he's officially now a friend of the show. And it is Mr. Lee. Mr. Lee is in the studio. So let's bring him on. Mr. Lee, how are you, sir?
Yeah, man, me good man. You know, they all listen to you, man. They all listen to you, you know?
What do you make of what's been said?
I saw the article came out and I was shocked. I thought that thing was done and buried, it was over with. But what the Guardian is saying is that the article that was put out by the JFF is wrong, it's incorrect. That's, you know, and so right now, you know, I am like a little bit disappointed and I'm also shocked. At the same time, as a man, I'm not gonna want to jump on anybody's back without knowing fully what's going on. But let's just wait and see. You know, for me, I'm gonna wait a couple more days to see what the JFF does or what the coach come out and say, right? Because this is still kind of damning, right? You cannot say he's exonerated, and the case can be opened at any time. Now, if FIFA cleared him as according, you know what I mean, to them, right? But I don't see where that statement is. And according to the article, they say they called FIFA and they say the opposite of the JFF, right? So and then this is a source. They cannot just put out anything because the JFF can sue them or the coach can sue them, right? So this is deja vu all over, mama.
It's some scary stuff. To be honest with you, and I spoke to someone and I actually sent them a voice message today, and I was like, you owe me an apology because I'm not going to name them, but when the JFF released their statement, I remember speaking with him and I said to him, I don't trust what the JFF are telling us because the statement just seemed too vague. You know, the statement that was put out by the Jamaica Football Federation, it just seemed too vague, and it just seemed a little bit off to me at the time, right? So it's interesting to see. I can go ahead and bring up that statement there by the Jamaica Football Federation if you guys want me to. Let me know in the comment section. I'll be more than happy to do so. But yeah, it just did not seem genuine to me. Does that make sense?
Yes. With this time that we're living in right now, with the Me Too movement and all this stuff, right? This is just opening a lot of stuff for international media. And I think the JFF and the coach need to come out and get ahead of this. Come out and said something because it's only gonna get worse from here. Right? And I think teams will kind of use this to their advantage. right? And I just think that, come out and give some clarification on the situation, or just, why? Let me ask you one thing before we go. Do you have your charger tonight?
Sort of.
Hello?
Sort of. Can you hear
Do
me?
you have, yes, can you hear me? Do you
Yeah,
have your charger ready? Do you have your chargers tonight?
I have charger, no chargers. I need to invest in a few backups after the nonsense that happened last night.
Okay, so did you fix that one from yesterday?
I fixed it, but I'm scared to put it in the socket because I don't want it to like spark. But
Oh my God.
I'm scared. I'm gonna actually order a few because all that I need is just the bit that plugs into the socket. The other bit and the charger itself is fine. By the way, if you guys are wondering what we're talking about, my charger basically broke. My laptop charger broke like on air last night, right? So in case you guys are wondering what we're talking about. Badass, good evening to yourself. He says, I asked you about the coach who were interviewed in one of your previous show, but you didn't. Okay, sorry, I didn't see your question or your comments. I actually touched on that at some point during this live stream. I don't know everyone who was interviewed. There was some reports there that a woman was interviewed, a female coach was interviewed. I'm not buying that. I don't know who the female coach was, but I don't believe it. I do, however, know that Jonathan Morgan there was interviewed, and it looked as if he was it was set in stone that he would become the new Reggae Girlz head coach, which is why I've asked you guys, what is the difference between what Jonathan Morgan was accused of and what Hubert Busby is accused of? Why is it okay to say no to one and yes to the other? Because I still don't understand. Maybe Mr. Lee can help me to make sense out of nonsense.
I think the only thing that I can figure out is maybe because of them friend, or to be honest with you, I really don't know. I really do not know. And now this come out now, we just put everything back to say that these guys do not change. There's nothing changes. Same old stuff. I really don't know, fans. I can't say, and I don't want to say what I don't know. But it is strange. It is strange. It's strange. It's strange. It's strange.
It's very strange. It's a odd situation to be in, but and the Jamaica Football Federation as well. I mean, if I go onto their social media, they're not stupid. They don't live under a rock. I'm sure they would have caught wind of this article already, because they are active on social media. If I go onto their Twitter, let's see if they've put anything out.
They're not.
They're not putting nothing out. So you're not even trying to shut that down. Usually, if your accusation is like that against you, you will shut it down. No, because if you're innocent, you just shut it down. You just respond to it, or maybe I'm looking at it incorrectly.
So the whole thing about it, right? What they said, and do you have the article that the JFF put out that said that he was cleared?
Well, I haven't. I think you probably need to mute your background. It's a little bit. I think something's going on in your.
No, yeah, I'm driving. I closed my window. Yeah.
Thank you. All right. So let me go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Perfect. Thank you. All right. So let's just go ahead and look at what was released by the Jamaica Football Federation when they made the announcement, right? And you can, this one is taken from their website. It says here in black and white. Let me give this one a read for you. The JFF reappoints Hubert Busby as head coach of the senior women's national team. And it says here, the Jamaica Football Federation is pleased to announce that after careful consideration and due process, our technical committee has recommended the immediate reappointment of Hubert Busby as head coach of the senior women's national team. This is Mr. Busby's second stint with the team, having held the position from 2020 to 2021. He was removed from the position when the JFF requested FIFA to investigate unsavory media reports originating in Europe Europe. FIFA subsequently cleared Mr. Busby based on his vast experience and knowledge of the squad. We think he is the perfect individual to take the team through the next stage of its development. Mr. Busby will therefore take charge of the squad, which will play 2 international friendlies against Brazil on June 1st and June 4th in Brazil. The squad will be announced soon. The JFF would like to thank Xavier Gilbert for acting in the role of head coach since 2023. He will revert to his position, previous role as assistant coach, and that is what it says there in what it was like a press release by the Jamaica Football Federation.
So yes, you did. It did. There's a part in you that said he was cleared by FIFA.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, so that right there is misleading.
There we go.
There should be another wording. There should be another wording. Not saying that he was cleared by FIFA. But why the Guardian? Well, why? Let me tell you something. This story does not end right here. And if the JFF know these people, right, it's gonna get bigger and bigger and bigger, right? Because after he been with the team for a while, the Guardian come up with this story. Yo, they need to get ahead of this and fix this, because it's only gonna get worse. It's only gonna get worse.
I think to answer your question there, I think we have to remind ourselves that the way that, let's say, media in Jamaica or traditional media and new media report on things is different to how foreign media would report on things. That's not to put no one down. That's not to be belittling. But I think, as I said, I think myself and also you as well, Mr. Lee, we spoke about that. I know I touched on it with Mr. Beckford and the guys in the comment section that there was something off in relation to the squad announcement some days back, maybe over a week now, and we said that something just seemed a little bit off. It just seems like that squad announcement lacked transparency. Maybe they were anticipating something like this coming to light. It just feel like they were holding their cards close to their chest. Something just didn't sit right. Now they can probably run and hide from Jamaica media, but you can't run and hide from the media overseas, because they probably were looking at this from way back in May and slowly building up to this moment. You never know.
But that's the damage I'm talking about. I'm not worried about the media back home. What I'm worried about is the international media, right? When this gets to other media, start to pick this up, and so they start to play games overseas, and this come out. It's damaging. And just like I said, the climate that we're in right now, right? It only gonna get to a level where that I just can't even find ways to describe it, But it's just not a good look. It's not a good look. They need to come out and try to get ahead of this, explain themselves, right? Now, in fairness to him and all that, right? Just like I said, as a man, we need to come out and hear his side. He can't talk about it, or the JFF come out and give their side.
If you read back the article, he's already spoken about it. He's already given his side. He's already commented on his side of the story. I don't think he needs to comment anymore unless he wants to add to what the Guardian has said, but he's already commented on it, because it clearly says so in the Guardian.
Yes, he needs to do a few things. He needs to come out and defend himself. This is the man that have a wife and kids or whatever, right? Come out and defend himself, right? Say, what was said, what is still, I'm going on, because at the end of the day, I'm a coach people data, right? So I think he needs to come out and get ahead of this. Come out and say what, give his version, talk to his lawyer.
I agree with you that he does need to do that, but I can't see it happening, because people close to Busby, including the Federation, have let this go on for far too long.
And that's the problem right there, sir. And that's the problem right there, sir.
Busby, to me, he's too comfortable. He's far too comfortable because you just said it. He is basically coaching people's daughters, right? So for me, it was like, I think I got to mute you for a second. You can unmute yourself when you're ready to speak. There's just like some little background sound. For me, the mere fact that you're coaching people's daughters, there goes the red flag. For me, it's like if you had any self-respect and you cared about the young girls that you're coaching, you would step away until the decision of the outcome of the investigation has been finalized. But the fact that you've been made to be around the team even before it was announced with regards to the outcome of the investigation tells me a little bit of what I need to know about you, or maybe all that I need to know about you, because you're going about your business if you don't give a damn. That's the way that I see this whole situation, is that people should have nipped it in the bud there and then, but he was allowed to just roam freely. And that is an issue, because Mr. Lee's right. Other countries probably subsequently pick up on this. And it just it's damaging for the Reggae Girlz reputation. It's damaging for their brand.
I agree with you right there. So the point that I'm saying, right, is coaching people's children, etc., right? And you have to look at that too. No, I'm saying if you have nothing to hide, if he's innocent, or advice of counsel of his lawyer come out, this is international, right? Him or the JFF need to come out and do damage control, right? Get a letter from FIFA, get something from FIFA, and say this was what was said to us, right? Or he do the right thing and step down. But I'm not gonna sit here and condemn him, right, when I don't know exactly what was said on the FIFA level. But just for the transparency of things, you're dealing with people's children. You know, this is international. Both parties, him and the JFF, I think they need to come out and try to clear up some things, right? Clear up some things and say, okay, this was what was mistook by the Guardian, or this was what was said by JFF, right? And I said this to one more time. I'm not sure, and I'm not going to condemn him. I'm saying this or that, but it does not look good. It doesn't look good.
It doesn't. It doesn't. I think you're right. I think he does need to make a statement. The Jamaica Football Federation needs to make a statement. Like, they cannot just leave it or brush it under the carpet or act like something hasn't been said. They need to actually jump on it and let us know what's going on. Like, because the ending of the article can lead you to assume that the case could be reopened. It does seem like, if you read the article, it does seem like there's a potential there where the case could be reopened against him. So they need to nip all of that in the bud. But I think we need to move on from previous coaches who have coached the Reggae Girlz, because it just seems like we're at a dead end. There's too many gray clouds. There's too many tarnished relationships between the Jamaica Football Federation. For me, if I have a bad working relationship with someone, I don't want to then keep on reworking with you. Like, I wouldn't want you to then reappoint me, because it's clear that you've not changed your ways. So it's almost as if this relationship is doomed before it even begun or restarted.
It's just the recycling of coaches. You know, this one in, then you recycle him, or you put another one in, then you recycle him back in, and it keeps on going like that. Keeps on going like that. Now, you know what I'm really actually, you know what I mean, worried about? These international feminist people, like that girl that they come out against Mace Greenwood and stuff like that, right? We don't want to show up for a game somewhere overseas, and you have these people in the stadium, you know, have these banner up and all this kind of stuff, right?
Why then? Why wouldn't you want it to happen?
No, it would affect the girls, right? I understand, you know, it would affect the girls, right? Because they are playing, right? No, the reason why I said that, if they can, this girl was putting up a petition, right, for Mace Greenwood, and against Mace Greenwood, and said she don't want him play for Jamaica, and she was going to start a petition. I think she did start one, or a group.
Which girl was this?
Oh my God, man, girl, you've been gone for a while. It was on another channel. I'm not going to call their name. And
okay, yeah. Let's not.
the very same week when Mr. Ricketts come out and say it was in the paper to and all that, right? Say it's injured as allegiance to Jamaica. There's a channel that came out, and they had a girl with her group, and oh my God, it was all hell broke loose. That was about probably 2 months ago.
That Mason Green conversation, probably save that one for another day, because I have
no,
my
but I was
own
saying
opinion on that. But what I'm saying to you is, why wouldn't you want something like that to happen? Can you not see the pros and cons as to why a petition like that might happen, or people turning up to the stadium and opposing against him? Can you not see the pros and cons to that?
But that's what I was saying. Now, here's what I don't want: for a game to happen, right? And like a World Cup qualifier or something, and then these activists, they show up, and it affects the girls, it affects their game. I would like for that to happen before. No, I'm not saying I don't want it to happen, right? I don't want it to affect the innocent parties, right? I want this to be solved and fixed before it gets too far, where it starts to attract more and more media attention and more what do you call it, more traction. But no, I do want this thing to be addressed. And you know, if it needs to be addressed, or he needs to step down, that needs to happen. But I don't want it to a situation where a game will go and it affect the girls, right? That's the only thing that I'm not, I'm against. But as far as total transparency, these groups go there, they do what they do. If he's innocent, he's innocent. If he's guilty, he's guilty. But I'm not going to say that I don't want any consequence to happen. I just don't want it to affect the girls when they're on national duty.
I think I understand what you're saying, but I think the way I'm looking at it is, I'm not even looking as far as that, because for me, the biggest concern right now lies right in front of us in black and white, and that for me is the gray cloud. Now I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, is it all worth it? Because as we read in that, and unless the article doesn't hold water, we read in the article, I read the article, I'm not sure if you read the article in its entirety, but it does suggest that the case can be reopened. That's what I'm saying. Is it worth it? Is it worth the potential? Remember, we're now in a World Cup qualification campaign, and you've said it in the comment section on and live on air that this is going to be our most challenging World Cup qualification process yet. So is this burden, is this baggage, is this gray cloud worth it? I think that's the bigger issue.
No, it's not. It's not worth it. And you have said something in the beginning that make a lot of sense, right?
Yeah.
Why go and hire this man that have baggage as much as the one that you discard him for? What sense does this?
Mr. Lee, sorry to cut you off, but I want to know, what is the difference between saying no to Jonathan Morgan and saying yes to Hubert Busby? Because it coming like my bond big, like me not develop no sense. I don't understand it, Mr. Lee.
Yeah, I am lost. You know, that's a big one right there, right? So I really don't know the difference, right? The only thing, in my opinion, the only thing that my opinion would say is because of the recyclingness. And that's the only, in my opinion, that's the only reason why he got that job. It's because they are recycling. And that's what they do. They're recycling their friends, right? They're recycling their bodies. And that's just... Yes, because if you're going to tell Tom, you have a problem, I can't hire you, right? And then Johnny is the same situation, and you hire Johnny. I could have sued you because you tell me you can't hire me because...
I didn't even think of that. Yes. You're right.
Can't hire me because I'm going through this investigation. But yet still you hire someone who, well, their thing is going to say that they're clear by FIFA. But what the Guardian say, FIFA says something totally different. Now, in that report, why? And this is the big why. That's why I have to say, as a man, I have to You have to hold it. You have to hold it underwear as a human being. Why didn't they not interview this girl? Did she not make herself available? Right?
You know what it is?
To testify.
I've been listening to you speak in the comment section, and I'm glad you came on air, and I've developed my own opinion of you, and it's a good one. I think because you clearly watch women's football religiously, right? If you've been watching women's football before it became fashionable to do so, I think if you really sit down, Mr. Lee, you can answer that question for yourself.
I think I can figure. Yeah, I think that's where you're going. Yeah.
Let me try and help you.
I think I see where you're going.
What we know of FIFA, right?
Mm-hmm.
What we know of FIFA and what we and their attitude towards women's football, and I think you can probably align your own opinion and answer that one for yourself, right? Without knowing exactly why the lady was not interviewed, because it says she wasn't interviewed neither by the Jamaica Football Federation or FIFA. And we know these guys and their attitude towards women. We've seen it for ourselves, so we can make assumptions. This is the thing. When you leave things open to interpretation, people are going to assume. People are going to assume.
What I'm saying though, before you as an organization can clear somebody, right? And I think the lawyers and them should sue whoever what is going on. Before you can clear this person, you have to hear from both parties, right? If they get a statement, I mean, you're from the club, and so that's $1 million question. If that was my daughter, my wife, my cousin, my whatsoever, and something like this happened, and they clear the other party without interviewing my child, that doesn't sit right with me. So something is missing right there. Something is missing. Who knows? It could be even this person who contact the guardian too, right? We don't know, right? We really don't know. I never think of this party. Could be this person contact the guardian. You just never know.
Which party?
No, could be the party that was not interviewed. Contact the guardian.
Yeah, could be. It could be. Maybe she probably contacted the guardian and said, "Hey, look," and maybe that prompted the guardian to touch base again with FIFA. So yeah, you're probably onto something there.
So but here's the deal though. The federation need to hire someone that's clean, clear, show where we going, because things happen, and like I said, but now I got dumped on somebody without knowing the fact, right? It could be cleared. They could have a trial with him and her, and then they say, okay, after listening to both sides, I clear it. But for the life of me, how is someone gonna be cleared and you haven't heard the other side? That doesn't sit well.
I think what you're doing is, I think for me, what you're doing is being objective, which is absolutely the right thing to do. But I think, this conversation's been going on for far too long. It's been going on for far too long. And it's part of the reason why we are in the position that we're in. When you actually look at where we're at, this is one of the reasons that kickstarted it. This is what kickstarted our stouting, our development. And here we are again going around in circles.
Yeah. I just like I say, I'm being objective, and I have to look on a different way. When I have a feeding family, he's a person, he's probably a husband, a father, and like I said, there's two sides to every story. But when you're running a business, JFF is a business. No, hold on there. They're running a business, right? They have to look professional. They have to be professional, right? Make sure, because the person you hire the person that you have, right? Running your business, they are a reflection of you, right?
Yeah, 100%.
And so this guy is a reflection of the JFF. And if it comes out that something that happened and blah, 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 FIFA call it back and then they find him guilty, it's a reflection on them. It's a bad reflection on them. But that's all I'm saying, right? Okay, don't put him back in the house until everything is done and clear up and done, right? Everything is done and clear up and done. But you're putting him back in, knowing well that is a possibility it could be recalled and the headline is going to be in again, right? Don't put yourself in that situation. Don't put your organization in that. Don't have that be the face of what's going on. That's where I'm coming from. Go ahead.
What I want to ask you, Mr. Lee, right? Because you spoke about Busby, fact that he needs to feed his family. I'm not sure if he's married or if he have kids. Irrespective of that, just piggybacking off what you said, could he not, if it's a case of him needing keeping this job to feed his family, could he not get a job somewhere else? Could he not get a job like what Lon Donaldson did with working with Chicago Red Star? Could he not go and work for an NWSL club or another country?
But that's the point I'm trying to make to you, right? And the reason why I'm saying that is because there's two sides to every story, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the cloud's going to be forever over them because the other person was not interviewed. Now,
Yeah.
we don't know if she turned on an interview with JFF, with the JFF or FIFA. We don't know. We really don't know. And so
It
I
says
cannot.
she wasn't interviewed by them. It says in the article that she wasn't interviewed. So if it says she wasn't interviewed, then that answers your question that she did not turn down an
No,
interview.
what I'm saying
She
was,
wasn't interviewed by them.
yeah, we don't know if they sent out to her and she declined it. But if they send out to her and she declined it, that means, hey, we give you a chance to come and defend yourself, and so happened, and you didn't, case closed. But from what they're saying, case is not closed. Case can be reopened, right? And I'm still gonna say again, why did you not interview this witness? Not witness, the victim. The victim.
Yeah.
Let me stop as a witness, the victim.
Yeah.
That's the only logic that I'm looking at, right? And I don't think any other coach, any other team outside of Jamaica is gonna hire him with what's happening. I don't think anybody's gonna hire him. I don't.
And that again for me is a concern. That's the reason. This is why I'm leaning. I'm saying to myself, you know what? You're making yourself look guilty, because if you are innocent, because it says you was cleared, why not just go and work for another club or another country? Because it says that you was cleared. So go forget the JFF, because you've had tussles with the JFF before. You've seen the tussle. You've seen the humiliation on the Donaldson, on the Hugh, with the Reggae Girlz, with everything that surrounds the Reggae Girlz. So knowing what you know, knowing what you've experienced, why would you want to then put yourself back in that position again? Because you're innocent. So why not just go work for another country or a club?
Nobody. I don't think anybody is gonna hire him. And I guess reason why he's comfortable when he get this job is the old body cycling stuff. The cycling stuff. And boy, may I tell you, they just need to come out sometime this weekend or Monday and try to put this to bed. You know what I mean? Try to put this to bed, because I just know those tabloids. I know those things. It's gonna get worse if there's no answer for this, because we're dealing with females right here, and is female journalists, and I can tell you right now, this story is going to gain more traction if something, say the girls, right, I'm supposed to start make headlines again, right, for the right reasons. All of a sudden this is going to be right there scratching on the surface, can push away sponsors too, you know, all of that can push away potential and Reggae Girlz too, you know. That's two things right there, right? So, boy, it's a sticky one, mama. It's a sticky one.
Yeah, I think this article, I can't remember who wrote the first article that broke in the Guardian some years back, but this one was written by Matthew Hall. So this one wasn't written by a woman. I just think the way that it is, I don't think this is something I don't think people should be looking at this and saying feminists are going to do this, feminists that could be male or female. I just think that it is going to be covered. I'm not really concerned whether it's going to be covered by heaps of women or whoever, irrespective of whichever reporter choose to add to the coverage of it. I do think it's going to be covered, because once again it is being covered, and unless I'm got my bearings wrong, it is written by Matthew Hall. you know, and this is somebody based off Matthew Hall's location. Matthew's based off his location is based in New York. So this is even somebody that is based in England, although I'm reading the Guardian here, because I do read Guardian UK. This is someone that is written the article from overseas, much closer to Jamaica than here in the UK. Yeah, so either which way, just like you said, it spells trouble. I also have to wonder how the parents feel and whether they're going to be asking questions of their own, because would I want my daughter playing for Jamaica under this current situation? No, I wouldn't allow
So you
for
see
that
what
to happen.
you just touch on something. So with this situation right here, and it comes out that there could be a recall investigation, and this is just a conversation, right? What if the team get together and say, listen, we as females don't feel right about playing for this coach with what's going on, and his, you know, the investigation can still be happening. And would that be a wrong thing? You know, because some people will say, you know, I'm gonna try to choose the coach or whatever. But I think it's a genuine, honest question right there.
Oh, I
We
like your
have
question. I like your question. Sorry, carry on. I cut you off.
so like, you know what? Listen, we're not trying to fire the coach or change the coach or anything, but we as ladies here have a genuine concern of what we know now. We thought it was clear and everything was everybody was interviewed, and they found him not guilty. But as females, the other party was never interviewed, and this comes back out, and we just not feeling without, you know, we love the coach and everything, but we just not feeling right. I don't think that would be too much to ask.
You're
And you're
right. I
not
think
trying to push anybody away. You know, you're just trying to say, Listen, we feel uncomfortable knowing know that the situation is not 100% closed." Is anything
no,
wrong with that?
no, I think you've posed an interesting question, and I don't think there's anything wrong. As I said, a couple Reggae Girls have told me that they do not want him as their head coach. Right. So whether or not they're going to be gathering in their numbers and saying just like what you said in terms of from a woman's perspective, in terms of, you know, everything that we've seen in sports and with regards to the nature of the accusation, they may very well gather up in their numbers and say they do not want to be coached by him, and there's nothing wrong with that. And of course we're going to be getting people opposing to that and saying, you know, how dare the Reggae Girls, because I've seen content creators in our own space turn their backs on the Reggae Girls and come out with their own mouth have stated that how dare the Reggae Girls say that they will not play for Jamaica if Mason Greenwood plays for Jamaica, right? So there are a couple content creators, a few content creators here and there that clearly they have an issue when it comes to women. They clearly don't believe in equal rights. They clearly believe that women should just sit quietly and be told and not have an opinion and not stand up and speak for themselves. So of course, you know, if the Reggae Girls come out and say that they do not want to be coached by Busby, yes, they are going to be men out there screaming and singing from the top of their lungs. That's to be
But
expected.
you know what though? And I had to interrupt you. With this that comes out, right? I don't think every international media, this would have be a big ass story. This would have be a big story because think this is just hypothetical, right? Me a power with a friend, and I'm hearing story right saying my murderer, right? Me ask him and he said no. I'm keep on hearing it everywhere me go. Me not power with him, you know. Me a stop, right? But I'm just saying though, as females, and you hear this story and you have a genuine concern. Listen, as a woman, I do not feel right with the situation not being closed because we thought it was closed, but it's still not closed. I don't feel right paying for this coach. I don't think there's nothing wrong with that.
I think that is a brilliant question. I think it's brilliant. And I am going to be looking at the Reggae Girls and wondering, so what's your move? What's your next move? Because
And
if
so
you did,
here's the thing, let me finish this now. So we're not asking you to fire him or anything. What we're asking you to do is finish the investigation. Finish the investigation. And so at the end of the day, the investigation is finished. His life is good. He's clear and can go on. There's no more bull crap. It's done. It's clear and it's done. Right?
But what do you do in the
Nobody.
meantime? Because what you have to remind yourself is an investigation doesn't just happen overnight. So what do you do? This is what I'm saying, Mr. Lee. Is it real? Remember, we don't have time to waste. We are 9 months behind.
No, they're gonna get somebody else. They're gonna get another coach. He's gonna step aside. He's gonna step aside and gone in the limelight and fix that. In other words, fix that before you come back round yourself.
But
if
why
it take
should
a
we
year,
come back? That is what I am saying, because not hear what I'm saying. We've already been through that process before where he was temporarily suspended, right? We saw the knock-on effect of his temporary suspension, and the girls are now paying for those that temporary suspension because of all the knock-on effects, right? We're now into our third hopefully successful World Cup qualification campaign. We're now basically into another World Cup qualification campaign. We cannot afford to keep doing this stop and start. It is not worth it. It's not worth it. So if they're going to suspend him, for me, it's not even a suspension. It's
no, not suspension. Not suspension. You need to step away from the program, step away from everything until you cannot come back here until that is all sorted out.
You're either suspending him or you're firing him then.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. By mutual, they come together by mutual consent. Listen, this is not working. Look, what we have to do is step away. We made a mistake. We're gonna have to part ways with you, right? If we take you to, so after 3 years, we can come after the situation clear up. We have a certificate from FIFA said clear up. After 3 years, then we maybe think of hiring you. But right now, it's toxic. You just cannot be around here right now. You see what I'm saying? You cannot be around. Everybody's uncomfortable. Everybody is uncomfortable. So you have to go and fix this situation. If you take 2 or 3 years, and then we can come back, reassess the situation, right, and see if we can do business again. But for right now, we have got to part ways. It's just not looking good, right? And so by me saying that, it's genuine concern of a person. Okay, so let me touch on something real quick. During COVID, everybody followed the necessary things, right? We do it. We take with everybody at my workplace. No, put it this way: come into my house. I have rules, right? You come into my house, I have rules. You gotta wear your mask, and you have to wear gloves in my house. You have some people say, nah, wear no gloves, and they come to my house and now wear no mask. Simple. You're not coming to my house. I'm in control of that, right? At my workplace, at my job, my boss coming out to listen. This is her rule. She want everybody to get vaccinated, and everybody to wear masks and gloves. If we're okay with that, we all said yes. And one person said that, 2% don't agree with it. And the 95% of us vote them out and tell them, so listen, it's not about how you think or how you believe, it's about health, right? And so if 80% of us getting unvaccinated, and this is the boss gave us the choice and said you have to speak to your co-workers. If they okay with it, then it's fine with me. If the co-worker is not okay with it, because here's the thing, she said my job is to protect my co-workers, is to protect my employees. And if they say they're not okay with you guys not being vaccinated and not wearing masks, I'm sorry, you two have to go. I am not gonna lose everybody because of 2%. Do you see where I'm coming from? Right? So they can do the same thing. I said, listen, right now things does not look good. It's not a winning combination right now. It's just not, right? So we will part ways with you until you go fix yourself and come back. Like we told those 2 employees, I'll never forget this, right? We're cool, we're friends and everything, but this is life and death situation. People are dead, right? We ask if you go get in the shot and come back. Okay, I'll come back when I get in the shot. If you don't want to get in the shot, you just cannot work with us. The boss gave us that.
Okay.
One of them take the shot and come back, and the next one says him not take no shot. And him not come back. And it was just like that. So I'm saying though, right? The boss gave him the choice. And he said, look, I'm not gonna lose 80% of my employees just for 2 of you, right? 95% employees, you know what I mean, just for 2 of you guys. And so I come back to the federation now, right? Our girls
I've got 1 second there. I've got Mr. Beckford on the screen. I haven't forgotten about you, Mr. Beckford. Please feel free to chime in at any point, okay? Do feel free to chime in, okay?
Hey, what's the comment section going? Because I can't really see it from this angle.
Comment section's a little bit quiet. There isn't really much being said. Reggae Boys community. I think this is my first time seeing you over on my channel. I hope you're well. I hope you're in good health. And yeah, that's about it. Yeah, the comment sections are relatively quiet at the moment.
Yeah, but you know, so that's just my whole point, right? If you know, if you know, if they feel uncomfortable, and you have to understand that, right? With this report that comes out, and a lot of them can still them feel uncomfortable, and then can make them sit in their position unbeknown. Now, how would you, all right, think of this now. May I ask this as a female, right? How would you feel you have a daughter and you hire someone to come and, you know, a man to come in your house and clean up? And your daughter said, "Mommy, I am not feeling comfortable be here alone with this man." What would you do as a mom?
That man can't come back to my house. We can't even be friends. We can't even be friends at all. If we were friends, that there goes the end of the friendship. Because one thing with kids, right? I'm assuming you're probably referring to kids, is that kids they pick up on things that we probably, I should say, as kids pick up on things that adults perhaps don't pick up on, right? But my first thing is to safeguard my child. If my child's telling me, or my daughter is saying to me exactly what you just said, I don't want you around my daughter. Then simple as that. You're not allowed at my house.
Exactly what I'm getting at. Exactly what I'm knocking at. And so would you be mad at her? Oh, look at Pitney, you're a troublemaker. You know, the man come here at work and you feel uncomfortable.
No,
this is what used to happen in the past.
Exactly. That's, you know, typical old-fashioned Jamaicans. They don't believe their kids. And I'm glad you touched on it as a
not just I'm Jamaican. It used to be a worldwide thing. It used to be a worldwide thing.
You know what? You're right for correcting me on that. But as we're talking about Jamaica, yeah, you're absolutely right for correcting me on that. But I can talk about that because it is something that is quite apparent within our community, right? In the Jamaican community. And it's carry on.
No, I'm sorry. The reason why I said this is actually worldwide, I did a study on this.
Yeah.
And it is
no, as I said, you're right. You're absolutely right for correcting me on that. I'm not going to sit here and act like you're not right. You are right, but I just feel that it's an issue that's so popular within our own community where they just don't believe their kids. They rather believe their friends than their kids.
And so as to this conversation that we're having now, lead back to that conversation that we're coming from. It would not be, it cannot be the end of the world if some of the girls come out and listen after what that report that we saw came out. We really feel uncomfortable, right? There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. And I think they're in their right to say, listen, I do not feel comfortable playing for this person who's still not 100% clear, right? And so they do have a right. Oh my God, this situation I get stickier, may I tell you.
I don't know if Mr. Beckford wants to jump in. I don't know if he's still there. I mean, he's still on my screen.
Yeah, man, send him a text, man. Oh my God.
Yes,
there you go.
Listening, but there are times when the young bike pass and you know low they're very annoying. So
which part of Mr. Beckford did they yard?
Yeah, mom. And
which part of yard?
Not near the road, like you know, some person literally one day if they did.
No, which parish? Which parish?
Clarendon. But
okay, Clarendon, okay.
But I'm saying they are very loud. Even when you're inside they can hear it same way.
Yeah, man.
And I'm not so good. I can imagine.
Crystal, did you get what you mean by yang?
Like them.
Hello?
The bike. He's talking about the bikes, isn't he?
Oh, okay. Well, you catch on, man. You catch on.
But no, she must know her thing. It doesn't matter if she's over there. She must know her thing, you know.
Yeah, man, she do it. She do it the young man for real. Yeah, Mr. Beckford, yes, what do you think about this situation?
It's a very sensitive and uncomfortable situation. To talk about it, uncomfortable, much less. I can imagine what it's like with the girls, how uncomfortable this will make them feel, and
Jesus
everybody.
Christ.
Um, because I was surprised this wasn't even cleared. It's like you're moving your stuff in a house that you are you are renting, right? And the agreement was to rent an empty house, and you're moving your stuff in it, and the things are still in it. It's like that chaotic. I mean, like that wasn't the agreement. So before you put back someone that's already in the program, but his name have been in his name been called up in situation that is not comfortable. I think you should have clean out the mess or clean out the house first so that we can start afresh. Because irrespective of whether you ignore the matter or you let it go under the scope, it's gonna eventually pop up back at some point, and it's already popping up, and he's not yet much into his tenure as coach already. So you said something I agree, even though we don't fully hear may come out and say any additional information apart from what was put in the papers or in media. There are many reasons because, to be honest, nowadays I expect anything from JFF that is neglectful or slack. And it seems
That's
like
not true.
they are holding on to that legacy. That's a bad legacy to hold on. I mean, you will get a chance to. You were not opposed, so you're reelected. And to be honest, I don't see much in terms of changes. It's like you're just doing your thing and nothing else matter. Are you having the federation at heart? So matters that concerning both teams, you're gonna get it addressed to before it goes to social media. It's called damage control. Are you thinking about
Mm-hmm.
allow things to get out of hand? Then you say, "Oh, jeez." Who are the peoples they put in the organization? What are their roles? What are they doing? It's like nobody really care. They just in there, as we say, name a food. They just naming a food and that's it.
Mr. Beckford, let me ask you a question, Mr. Beckford. And this is just, man to man we attack. Okay, so you're the coach of a team, right? And you're coach my daughter. Okay, so me the coach of a team, I'm your coach your daughter. And you find out from a policeman friend say, right? Say coach, you getting us some trouble if you touch some little girl. And you know about the case again and the case just disappear. How would you feel as a father?
I will be very
Concerning?
disturbed, disturbed, but at the same time, I would like to give the benefit of the doubt. But I will be very careful because it's become a matter where it could be true, it could be near true, it could be um something that is happening a long time before it even exposed. So the thing about these information, the question is how long is it been happening and how long is it allowed to happen? Those are the more disturbing findings because if you're aware of someone misconduct and you do nothing about it, that means you're in agreement with what they are doing. And
Yeah. Old boy.
you as the person in charge, don't put down your foot and say, no, this is not good, this is not what we want. It's gonna continue and it's going to get to a point where it's out of control and then when it reaches to certain media, you are going to try to pretend as if you don't know anything about it. because up to now, can't say whether they know about it or not. But to reinstate someone that was an offenses like that, it's appalling to know that um it's our girls, and if you want to think that it's only the female, the senior one, it's not just the senior one. We're talking about the younger ones that is there, those that are even watching today and say, 20 years from now, 10 years from now, depending on their age, I want to be a part of this program. But there's a but because of this news circulating on social media. There's a but. You don't know how long it's going to remain at the helm. But at the same time, you're thinking, does the governing body really care about the female safety, or who they allow to be as coach or to be around these girls? You're going
My
to look into
God.
things. Don't
No,
worry
that's
about
some stuff.
safety.
That's some serious stuff you are saying, and everything you have to make so much sense. It makes so much
Yeah,
sense. Keep on going, man.
that's gonna discourage you because as a female, you want to be a part of the program. Now you're going to question whether you should pursue your dream or not. If you
You
notice
listen
with
to me earlier?
yeah,
No, man, you must have listened to what me I say, man, because you say exactly what me I say. And two person cannot make up lie. Two person cannot say lie, Crystal.
yeah. All right. And most of them are educated, so they are not fools. And it doesn't make you're trying to go around person that their thinking is probably wider than yours, or at their educational level their IQs is much higher, so they are more sensitive. Person that are more sensitive, they think about things on a wider scale. They think about the pros and the cons. They think about the positives and the negatives and how it will affect them in the short long term. So the most of these girls, they went to college and they got their graduate certificate, they got the degree and master, whatever line of study, but they are educated girls, and they are more high in terms of certain things that affect them. That's really the worst thing, to demand more professionalism from the body, even though they say they have limitations. But at the same time, certain should be of high importance when you're dealing with girls. They are more sensitive than the men team, because as a man, when a man straight and a man don't mix with certain things, a man I make him presence, no one say, yo, be careful of what you're doing. Me not in the foolish way you have. Try to promote.
Yes, yeah.
The girl, they want to put a stop to it, but look at the fact that what if the the persons are the persons involved are persons you should be extra careful because you don't know what they are capable of. Remember, we live in a time where one phone call, links, and all those things, people can go missing, people can go absent, and people can be associated with things, some incident, and then there's no evidence to connect. But the evidence is there, just that you cannot see it in plain sight. It's gonna take a far deeper investigation before you find the truth. And most of the times, those are the things that cause some person that are repeat doers of the same thing to get away with the same thing for different persons, because the matter is not looked into deep enough, or it's gonna take too long before they reach to the connecting points where you could solve the case, or so, oh, so he was involved but not directly, but he have a lot to do with it because he facilitated it. So yes, there's a lot to think about because it's another person, daughter is another person, granddaughter, and so on. So to have someone that has been convicted of something or accused of something like this, yes, it's gonna raise a lot of eyebrows and a lot of concern. So I think it should have been dealt with before they go ahead. So that I'm wondering, you cannot find anyone competent enough to to fit this slot. Are you saying that in a world like today where a lot of coaches exist, a lot of person out there that could match yeah, or even have a better results to their name, you cannot find anyone that can fill the slot, where you have to return to someone that was already a part of the program but were in problems with the girls? I mean, it's really questionable.
But let
And
me tell you what's going on with that. Let me add with the answer. If you notice, they have a recycling of coaches, right? A recycling of coaches at the JFF, a recycling. This one out, this one in, this one back in, this one out, this one back in, this one out. That's been going on for a while, and it's not going to
and it,
stop.
someone that want a job and want the best from it, they will probably take a cut or work with the program until things can improve. Because they want to take the program from point A to point B, and because of their interest and their commitment to the program, they are willing to make couple sacrifices, but in the long run, those sacrifices won't be in vain. But I don't know why he's sticking around. It's like when you have a hidden agenda, and because your agenda is not accomplished, you're sticking around long enough until you accomplish it.
Yeah. Talawa,
Quite
so you
interesting.
wanna drop knowledge,
Yeah, I
from
mean
with.
that's what I said. You know, I let the both of you speak, and I just sit back and listen to what you're both saying. But no, I can't knock him. I think what he's saying, much of what he's saying, definitely holds water. And as I said before, you know, it for what it's worth, if you can say no to Jonathan Morgan, then surely you can say no to Busby as well. Because I'm still left with an unanswered question. What is the difference of the both of them? Why is it okay to say yes to one and no to the other? You know, it doesn't make sense. And even the Reggae Girls as well, I think they've probably now this is why I said that something has to be done, because I think now they find themselves in hot water once more. Because some people will be looking at them and saying, are you okay with that? Are you okay with being coached by him? You know, if you wasn't okay with being coached by Vin Blaine, why are you okay with being coached by Busby? You see what I'm saying?
In most organizations, right, there would be a meeting right away where the JFF would call the captain of the Reggae Girls, the captain and the vice captain, and
I want know, Mr. Lee. Or am I gonna do that when what or the captain and or the vice captain, Mr.
we
Lee?
don't even know. My point is though, there's something that needs to be said. They just cannot push this under the ground because if you do, because I don't know if they still have that mediator there because they had was to have a mediator the time when they wasn't speaking to each other. FIFA have a mediator where they speak to that person, and this is a situation right now where they need to have a mediator. No, they need to have a meeting. An email goes out to the captain and say, listen, there's a report that comes out and, blah, blah, blah. And like I said, woman, we are dealing with, right? We're dealing with female, right? They cannot, in this day and age, sweep this under the rug. The JFF and the court need to address this with the team. They need to. This is something that needs to be addressed with the team. If they don't do this, this is a missed opportunity to clear up stuff because you have your captain and your vice captain or 4 or 5 of the players them and you know have this conversation. What is the feeling amongst the staff, right? That's something you need to do. What is the feelings among by seeing this article? This is what the article said, and this is our position. What they told us, right? But they need to have they need to reach out to the team and have a conversation have a conversation with them and find out how they feel, if they feel uncomfortable or so. Because me now go a war and go war with a man who can turn around and just shoot him on in one side, right? Me now go a war with no madman for my team, right? Because in Canada fire I'm going while and shoot me. You know, so you mad? No, you can't come. You have to stay back.
You've made an interesting point there because they decided, from what I understand, that the reason why they did not appoint Jonathan Morgan there was that it fell through. And the reason why the agreement fell through, from what I understand, is because of the previous exclusive article that came out. I think that article there was in the Daily Mail, something of that ilk, right? So again, they're now JFF have shot themselves in the foot because here lies, you made a decision then, and I don't think anyone can argue against your decision, but here lies another article that's been left and it's probably approaching some 24 hours now. So what do you now do with
Crystal,
this article?
I'm sorry to interrupt. I gotta ask you a question. When did this article came out against about the other coach?
When I believe it was over a year. Let me double check that for you. Hold on. I think it was over a year ago. There. One
Tell you guys what
moment.
I think. I think that they get caught up that coach was on the JFF radar. That they're
Hold on. I can't hear you. You sound very quiet.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. Yes, perfect.
I feel that the article that the paper get wind of the JFF interviewing him and that he was about to be the head coach, and then release it because I think I'm hearing one of them guys came and one of them channels. The reason why they did not hire him because they were close to hire him was because the investigation came out. So the investigation
That's
came
what I've
out.
just said. I mean, the investigation, the article came out, as I said, over a year ago, right? Article came out over a year ago. But what I am saying is that they decided, the Jamaica Football Federation, that they wouldn't hire Jonathan Morgan because of the article that came out. So again, you can see the similarities there in terms of the accusation. There's
Yes,
clear
but here's what I'm saying,
differences.
Crystal. I'm on something way bigger. I think that this article came out because the article get wind that he was about to be hired, and they released the article in the midst of his interview. That's what I got from the JFF because there was a certain one that was on a channel, and I said, yes, we're this close to hire him when the article came out, when the article came out. What does that say to you? That is telling me that someone heard about the interview, heard that he is about to be appointment, the article, and related it to the article, and it came out. That because he was about to be hired. He was about to be hired when the article
See
came
where
out.
you're going. I see where you're going. I understand the point that you're trying to make, and I think me and you're looking at things completely different here. As I said, I get the point that you're trying to make, but adding to that is, again, why was it okay for you to make that decision, but then turn around and reappoint Busby? And here we are again, because you made a decision, and I don't think many can argue against your decision, regardless of the ulterior motive behind the article, right? And the timing of the article, regardless of any ulterior motive, they made a decision based off that article. Here is another article that you're being faced with that is now focusing on your decision to reappoint Busby. Do you see what I'm saying?
No, I see your point. But what I'm saying though, right, is that they need to be careful because somebody is watching them, right?
Yeah.
That's my point. There's two articles came out.
Stick a pin in it,
Somebody is watching them. They need to close up the shop.
One second, Mr. Lee. Real Alabella, what do you mean we need to be careful because it's slanderous? We've not said at any point that all we are doing is talking about an article that was written in The Guardian. So how can we be accused of slandering Busby? Where does the accusation come from? Please enlighten me, because obviously law is not my background, but please show me where we can be held accountable for slandering him. Please, like, are we not allowed to sit here and dissect a article? Are we not allowed
You see, I don't like when someone just come on and heard just one thing, because if he heard everything that I said, I even said, as a man, I have to be careful how I accuse somebody else, right? And I even laid it out. And I said, we're doing it from the other side, and there's two sides to a story. I don't know if that person hear that. So nobody's here slandering anybody.
Is that your name? Is your name Teddy Lee? He's referring to you as Teddy Lee. I mean, I know you as Mr. Lee, Jeremy Lee, but he's calling you Teddy Lee.
I am not Teddy Lee. I'm always talking. I'm not Teddy Lee. I am not that person. Tell him I'm not that person.
I think, Real Alabama, I think you've just tuned into the live stream, but I don't even think you understand what we're talking about. Yeah, we're not on the same page. Nobody is slandering Busby. Nobody's making up stories. We're talking about previous reports and current reports. The latest report in the Guardian
report came out. You got to go look on the report and stop that foolishness.
This is why I stopped. This is why I didn't take the report off the screen. Like I don't understand. No, Brian, I was getting around to you. Big up yourself. No, Real Alabella says Teddy Lee in one of his comments. So that's what I'm saying. Is he getting his lines confused.
No, there's a no. I think because there's a Teddy Lee in one of them chat that going and give a lot of trouble. So maybe
Oh,
he's thinking
I
that's
don't
that
know.
Teddy Lee.
Maybe he thinks I don't know who that person is. But anyways, big
Yeah,
up
I know who
yourself,
that
Real
person is.
Alabella. Big up yourself, man from Portland. Big up yourself, Brian Mighty. Hope you guys are all in good health.
Brian Mighty.
Yeah, Brian is in the comment section. He says blessings, Jeremy Lee.
Yeah. So no one is here slandering anyone. We're just going over an article that we saw came out today. And what we are saying that is saying that the case was closed, and the article, the judge said the case was closed, and the article said that the case was not closed. It can really be open anytime. And so what
I
we
don't
are saying is
even
that
think we need to even reiterate that. I mean, if Real Alabella wants to jump to conclusion, then allow him to do that. Like next time, ask. Don't just assume that people are accusing people. Like don't do that. Next time, ask us what are we talking about, but don't just jump to conclusion that we're slandering people's name, because we're not doing that at all. We're talking about an article that other people have spoken about, and it's taken from the reputable Guardian. It's not as if we're just sat there like trying to generate clicks, trying to generate views. Like we're not doing that.
and hurting somebody. No, that's not what we're
Yeah,
doing.
like we're not doing that at all. We're having a conversation, an objective conversation.
If you want to come and explain yourself, you can come and explain yourself, but don't accuse people of doing that kind of stuff, bro. Don't do that. You know?
I mean, we are basically looking at the important pointers and dissecting it and looking at it at different angles. So and for informative show, that's what happened. It's anywhere. It doesn't matter the platform. If there's an article or there's something that was published, um instead of just reading out, you can read it little and dissect it, or read the entire book, look at the key points and look at the important information, and then question certain credibility, question certain decision. That's what you're basically doing. um she have never slandered anyone. She most of all of the stream that I followed and the stream that I even missed, I know that her objective objective is to bring across the latest and also look at the information given, not her opinion, the information given in different ways and how it affect the girls and all the pros and cons with it. And that's what we're
Yes.
doing. And
Yes.
sometimes to be honest, it's like this feels like when your a class is already in session and you reach late, and then what you missed, the teacher have to literally go back over what was discussed.
And that's why some of them so damn dumb, got them freaking late to class.
So I don't know if that's the case, but I'm not even accusing that because of that you said what you said. But there are different person in the comment section. Not everyone will be um late or early, but what they catch they will most of the time speak on it, and we understand. But that is not happening here. We just question the article, and it's very sensitive, and we know that on this platform we have to be careful with our choice of words, because it
Is he
can
still
have
in the chat, Crystal? I- Is he
Well,
still in
he's
the
not
chat or
saying
he's
nothing.
gone?
I'm assuming he's still in the chat. He's probably still listening, but he's not saying anything. He's probably just still listening.
So
But
if you were listening, sir, right? There's an article came out about I don't know if this is the article. The article basically said that the JFF lied about the coach being cleared by FIFA. The investigation can reopen. It's not closed. It's not a closed investigation. So we are just saying that if they knew this and still hire him, right, it is wrong. And we're saying that if the JFF knew this and then turned on a coach that is the same situation and hire one that is the same situation, what's the difference? That's all we are saying. No
that's
one
the
here is
main.
slandering anybody.
I mean, if he actually looked at the screen, it says it in bold writing. Jamaica FA falsely claims women's team's coach was cleared of alleged sexual misconduct. And my gripe with all of this, as what Mr. Lee said, is why was it okay? Doesn't matter if you think it was right or wrong. Why was it okay to say no to Jonathan Morgan but say yes to Busby? That's all I'm saying. That's been the main topic of conversation question here. Why is it okay to do one and not do the other? And also we've touched on the lack of clarity as it relates to the situation there around Alison Swaby and the fact that she didn't wear the captain's armband against France. This is why I'm saying that maybe the reason why we've seen Busby take a laid back approach is perhaps he's not in charge, or perhaps he feels that he cannot be challenging or oppose the decision making that come from the Jamaica Football Federation, because if it was the Jamaica Football Federation that decided that Alison Swaby is no longer a vice captain, I'm looking at it, I'm thinking to myself, did you decide not to push back on that because you perhaps feel that you should not have been reappointed? Right? That's what I'm saying. This is my opinion. It's not facts. I am simply asking questions. That's it.
Let's move on from this person. You know, the person gonna have them objective and they come in late and they're gonna say what they want to say. But at the end of the day, though, what we're saying is that for an organization, this does not look good. You know, if what FIFA says, that the article could not be lying about FIFA because it can be sued. They cannot say something about JFF because JFF can sue them, right? So what this article is basically saying, and that we're just going off the article. We're just going off the article, and so I am questioning. This is my thing. How would I feel as a female to know that the man that's coaching me have been charged for something and it's still not clear, right? Some people, some females will feel uncomfortable, and rightfully so, because we don't know what happened to people in their personal life. We don't know, right?
You
And
know
so
what?
we have a genuine conversation about what happened and what can transpire. No one is shining anybody in any way, shape, or form. We just putting out facts that we get from the paper.
So he's responded, but I think his response kind of tells us that he doesn't have a clue what's going on, because he says investigations don't work like that. There's nothing to close. Allegations were made. If there's nothing there, the authorities move on. So clearly you've not been listening to the live stream at all.
Tell him go read the paper. Tell him go read the paper. Tell him go read the Guardian, and then he can come back. Find him to the article and find him to the article. Oh my God.
I've left the headline to the article on the screen so people who are tuning in can see the article. I don't know if you guys know this. All you have to do is just type in the headlines into Google and it would lead you to the article. That's the reason why the article is still left on screen. So if you show up late to the live stream, you can just go off and read the article to bring yourself up to speed.
Bro, if you're called a scandal in somebody, if you read the article there, that's what the article there said. And if you have strength to we, Jesus God, bro, go read the article and come back and apologize. Do. Go read the article and come back and say you're sorry. Because if you read the article and see how the article go hard from them, and we just discuss the article, please go read the article. Do. Oh my God.
You know what's baffling about everything? The fact that I'm saying this. If you have something, if you want something to grow, and if you want the best out of something that you start, I don't know if it's a case where people is afraid of changes, are afraid of the possibilities. But I'm saying is this: if you're not willing to object and to question certain decision or certain thing that was done, then you're basically saying that you will accept anything, and within the next 5 to 10 years, if something that already start that should have reaped more reward is not doing so or remain the same, then it's nothing to you. Then you're basically saying you're comfortable with anything.
Hold on,
And that
Mr. Beckford. Hold on, Mr. Beckford. Sorry to interject. Real Alabella, is there something wrong with your hearing? Like, do you need a Q-tip to dig out the wax them in your ears? Where you talk about? Which part I call you Alabama? Where did I call you Alabama? Clean out the wax them in your ears all and listen to what I am saying carefully and stop changing the subject. Go and read the article. You always come into the comment section with one bag of foolishness, and then when people address you in a way that you don't like, you're quick to move the goalposts. Go clean out the wax them in your ears all and stop talk foolishness.
This guy could also be a plant, you know. He could also be a plant.
The
A
man say
plant
you
from
know him.
somewhere.
Him say you know him. I don't know him always come in that comment section with one bag of foolishness. Stop your
Real,
foolishness,
you say
man.
real baller or real alabala? Real baller?
Real alabala. Oh, he want to call himself. Stop your foolishness in that
Oh my
comments.
God!
Where you
Hey,
want to call yourself.
okay, okay. I know who it is though. I know who it is. He just making trouble. I know who it is.
Just
Okay, yeah, let's
always
just
come
roll
up
out from
with
this.
foolishness,
Let's
and
just
then
move on from this.
when
I
me and
know who
him
it
kick
is.
off, him not like it. Stop going with your foolishness. And you're gonna find out who you are. You're not going to like it. I can tell you that.
Let's just move on from this person. Let's just move on from this
And you
person.
better not be who I
I thought
think
you
you
were
are.
saying Alabama at first, but I think I know who it is.
No, never call him no Alabama.
I know. Yeah, this is one of the person that they always are war with both the girl them. He is anti-bunny, and me and him always a
I
war
know
about
that
this.
he's anti women. You don't need to tell me that. But no, same
No,
him anti
he's just
women.
he's anti um reggae girl. He's anti,
Why
you know what I mean, reggae girl.
why if him anti reggae girl, why you come on my channel? You're always gonna be provoking me then. Why you come on my
This
channel?
is
You don't
not the
like
place for
reggae.
you, bro. This is not the place for you, bro. This is not
And
the
he
place
knows
for
it
you,
as
bro.
well. He knows it. Me notice from my lock eyes with him, me notice that this man just ever give me problem. Like, why you come on the channel if you're not like the reggae girls? I might just start call you Alabama from now on. Then that's your new name, Alabama.
You must say Alabama the whole time. And when you say it now, we know exactly who you are. We know exactly who you are. But
It's a real
I trouble you my game, man. I trouble you my game, man. See that good youth, man. I trouble you my game, man. That good youth.
I
Let me
call
just
him real
ignore him. Let me just
Alabama
ignore
from
him, see
now
that
on.
move on. Look, we ignore him, see that
He
move
better
on.
not be who I think he is. He better not be who I think he is.
Look, we just move on from him and leave him alone. We just move on from him and leave him alone. But
There's
as
somebody
what you saying, you know
trolling.
me, Mr. Beckford. As what you were saying a while ago, bro. You touching on some point, Mr. Beckford, where it
You
makes
guys,
so much sense.
Grimmy Family Production, this is not the platform for that. May I tell you, this comment where you just say, this is not the platform for that. No, this is not the platform for that. Maybe you're new to my platform, but what people do in their personal lives, in their bedrooms, none of my concern, sir. None of my concern. I don't care what people do in their personal life. I don't care about people's sexual orientation. That's none of my business. Please don't drop comments like that in my on my platform. I'm begging you, please. Please. Yeah, go
Don't
on,
do it.
lads.
Him say, yeah, there are somebody trolling in the comment section, but there's a time and place for everything. Come on, it's a very sensitive topic here. No time to be joking around. Because it's affecting our girls, and if you care about the program, you're gonna care about what affect the girls, because it's gonna cause a lot of. It's a ripple effect, just like when you set up the domino and one drop, everything drop right through. It's a ripple effect. So, but my what I want to ask is this. I just want to look into the fact that irrespective of when this article was published, right? And when they were like probably trying to get the a coach to replace Donald from the last time. These two person, what the time span was like between the articles that was published between the two person, and even if the person that was at Sheffield was the first one to be published, they should have it in their mind or the back of their head that bringing back Mr. Busby in the program, it would have opened a can of worms that weren't disposed of. So I'm trying to figure out what were they thought like, or what was they thinking like. Probably this thing was going to be covered up, or it weren't going to be reopened. But I mean, when you're getting someone, you should look at the apart from the background. That's why most person when they employing people, they want to do a background check. When you do a background check and you see something that doesn't sit well with the type of person you want, are you going to just blindly ignore it and employ the person? No, a sensible person will do that because you want it's gonna backfire on you. The person gonna say, oh, that's the type of person you want in the organization. The type of person you're employing, they are going to look at it in different ways. So we are trying to dissect this now. Why? I mean, you weren't seeing that, you weren't thinking about those things before you go ahead and make certain decisions.
Well, I love that question because what was I going to say? Because Dennis Chung, his name eluded me for a second. He said, you mentioned due diligence. So what was the due diligence? It basically, you've just summarized what I've touched on earlier on in the live stream. Where's your due diligence? Do you just go and hire any old Tom, Dick, and Harry? Like, where's the due diligence? That's what I would like to know, you know? Well, I don't know. I think, you know, for what it's worth, it's a conversation that is not going to die out. It's going to continue. But actually, before I close up on the stream, do you think that he will be the head coach for the 2 games there against South Africa?
I don't know. I don't know, and I won't say, with this, I really don't know. I don't know. This article opened a lot of stuff, and I really don't know.
Well, it's not going to budge probably that easily, but even with some hard pressure, probably not it's not easy. It's probably this matter is like when you try to soften the bone or a cow bone or whatever. Where you know say pressure cooker can probably but not fully. But you know it's like you want the bone to just melt in your mouth and put it in, but it's not going to happen. The bone is going to still be tough. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I
pressure
where we
cook
get
it.
this guy from, but I tell you,
The
hey,
bones.
bro, brother, I tell you, you're on the money tonight, You're on the money, me, I tell you, big man. Trust me.
So the question is, honestly, the question is what's there for him in and is he going to lose or miss out and so. I mean, people literally will definitely stay irrespective of how the program they are in going to be damaged, unless their intentions or their reason is if not accomplished at something detriment. So I don't know. This is a tough question too because I don't know if he can even answer it himself. So where the answer is going to
Yeah.
come from now.
And
I have
this article includes FIFA, right? And so they reach out to FIFA, and FIFA say it's not closed. So that right
exactly.
there in itself is problem. That right there in itself is problem, right? And so take the coach out. Why would the federation put themselves in a situation like this? Why
Hmm.
would they do something like this, right? If they know, did they know that the case is not closed? Did they intentionally lie and say it's closed? Because
I
people,
think
and
it's
then the
old habits,
Guardian.
you know.
Go ahead, go ahead.
I think it's old habits. I think it's I'm carrying myself echo. I think guys my thing is okay, thank you. Okay, I can't. Alabama, good night. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Guys, Alabama is leaving. He says he has work in the morning. So, good night, Mr. Alabama. Okay. It's all love. I hope to see you on my next live stream. It's all love. But you owe me, apparently, we're going out for dinner. So you owe me dinner and maybe a cold red stripe or a
Tell
cold
him you owe us an
Heineken.
apology. You owe us an apology.
You don't seem like the type that would
Oh
apologize. So I'm
yeah,
not
man.
holding
A
my
good youth, man. A good youth, man. No man.
Well, I'll give him time to read the article,
No
right?
man, a good youth, man. A good youth. A good youth, man.
All right.
Even though
So,
even though I like Bonnie Shaw, yeah, I'm with a good youth, man. A
well, he's
good
gonna
youth.
have to come on my stream and explain to me why I'm not like Bunny. I
Yeah,
want to hear why Mr.
you know,
Alabama
I'm gonna
don't
get him,
like.
man.
I'm gonna
You
get him
need to
on.
bring Mr. Alabama on because he need to tell me why him
I'm
don't
gonna
like
bring him
money.
on, man. I'm a good guy, man. I'm a good guy. Let me tell you something, Mr. Alabama, right? You see, right now, real baller. If
I know
me
the first
supposed to
time me
call
and
him right now and
you
say,
know,
brother, listen, me can't buy gas, me not have no food, and my son of money
yeah.
come give me right now. A good person, man. A good person.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, let me address another comment. Until color of a man's skin, it says someone made a comment, right, about the girls as it was an explicit comment, right? And I don't want to talk about it. Until the color of a man's skin, he says, Crystal, great work and all, but don't be selectively righteous. He says, you can't say you don't care about what people do in their personal lives, but care about Mason and his girl, what his girl doing all because it's became public. Well, you're talking utter rubbish, first of all, because the two don't compare. The two don't compare, and one was made public interest. I'm gonna say it again, whether you think I'm being a hypocrite or not, that's to your own interpretation. I do not care what the girls do in their perfect personal life, be it the reggae girls or the reggae boys. I do not care about someone's sexual orientation. Why should I? Did you see the comment? You think that that type of comment is acceptable, that I should sit here as my host and tolerate a comment like that? No. So I'm not being a hypocrite and I'm not being selectively righteous. It was a foul comment. It should not have been made. And you cannot compare Mason Green. And whether I want to like it or not, I am still not in agreement with the Mason Greenwood conversation. I know that probably rubs some people up the wrong way. I'm okay with that. When it's time for us to talk about Mason, we'll talk about Mason. But Mason Greenwood and what was said in the comment section it doesn't even compare. It's incomparable. So I don't know what the hell you're on about. Right? Sorry guys, you can continue.
But that matter was made aware public because it became outside the bedroom, outside the personal life. I mean, two different things. What you don't know, you don't know. You can only assume. But what you know or hear is a different topic because it already out.
I think
And it's no longer
people
personal and it's no longer private. When
the
private become public,
situations don't come. You see the thing with me, Mr. Beckford and Mr. Lee, I'm willing to talk about Mason Greenwood, but the thing is there's too much ignorance within our
No, we're not doing that tonight. That's not what we're
no, no,
doing
no, no,
tonight.
no,
We're
no,
gonna
no.
stay
I'm
on
not. No,
topic.
no, 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 no. I'm not saying we're going to talk about him tonight. What I'm saying is, in general, I am willing for us to have a conversation, but there's too much ignorance. People have already made their mind up. That's not to say we're not going to talk about Greenwood, but again, it just goes to show you're talking about something that doesn't even compare. They're two different topic of conversation. If Mr. Beckford and Mr. Lee took a glance in the comment section and actually find that comment, you'll see that it does not compare. I can't allow any of my commenters or subscribers to talk like that towards anyone, be it the
You
reggae
see,
girls
I
or the
don't think
reggae
people
boys.
really know what we're talking about if they get the context of what we're talking about. Right then we understand. But the people that just come on late and just are here, just a look on the headline and a jump to conclusion without knowing what we're talking about.
Yeah, they don't have a bloody clue what they're new to the channel. Fine, I don't mind if you want to jump in the comment section. I don't mind, but listen to what we're talking about. And if you jump late into the conversation, just ask us, what are you guys talking about? I don't mind you asking me what am I talking about, but you can't just assume that I am saying something that you don't have a clue what I'm on about. But as I said, big up you guys in the comment section. But come on, guys, the two don't compare.
I know, to be honest, that situation probably take the whole year or a month or a week to before we can address it fully because it is very sensitive as well.
A sensitive
Me talking to
conversation.
Mason Grade with subject.
Because it caused a
I am
division.
not touching that subject, period. I'm not going to touch it for certain reason why. Here's why.
Yeah,
That's a
that's why I'm
situation between him and the person that they still sleep together, them still live together. I'm leaving that alone. Me, I leave that one day alone.
yeah, and I would do the same because it's way more than what people think.
And what
But
we're talking
that's
about is two different things. We're not that what we're talking about now is an article that came out about a case that the JFF said was closed, and we
Mason
realized
Greenwood
it's not
has
closed.
nothing to do with Mason Greenwood. Like Mason Greenwood is a completely different topic in itself. I can understand like the points that you guys have made. I can understand it, but as I said, and I'm not going to talk about our Mason tonight, but the gripe with Mason Greenwood is that there doesn't seem to be much objectivity, irrespective of what's being presented to us in terms of the alleged evidence, the alleged accusation, and so on. People's interpretation, I don't think, holds any objectivity, and I also don't think people are looking at Jamaica as a country, right? And I'll just leave it at that for the time being.
Yes, and but the topic that we're discussing is it's clear. It's been up for the entire show almost. So even if you don't know, have a clue, you see that, and you must probably use your head and say, I don't know. The common sense is not for
I
everybody
think it's
still.
probably people who one don't like women. Clearly, I'm now learning that Mr. Alabama not a fan of Bunny, and clearly some of them are more fans of Busby and fans of the Federation. So of course they're gonna come and try to disrupt the show, and say this and say that. You know, it's okay. You guys can be a fan of Busby. You can be a fan of the Jamaica Football Federation. You can be a fan of Mason Greenwood. To each their own. I'm not rocking with certain things, but to each their own. You know, do you?
Yeah, and you know what I need to see more men do? More men need to embrace the fact that look here, women are not viewed as what they used to be viewed. So I know men will literally against women because they are better or they are as best as men, but we cannot hate that. Things change and we just have to accept it. That's simple. So I mean if Bonnie Shaw is very good at what she does and she's one of the best ever out of Jamaica. We just have to be happy and embrace the fact that she's Jamaican. It doesn't matter if she's a female or male. She facts still remains she's Jamaican.
I Mr. Alabama, Mr. Lee, you need to bring on Mr. Alabama for me, because I think we need to have a conversation about Bunny Shaw. I actually learned through Mr. Lee that certain section of the Jamaica, I'm not even going to say Reggae Girlz fan. I feel like
You
this is
gotta
a
let me know next
spillover.
time you go on, and make him bring
He's
him
not
on.
going to come. He's not. You're gonna have to drag him by his ears. He's not
Oh,
going to
he will
come.
come. He will come because I'm not gonna make him come. Because
Well, me I go hold
almost
him
every
to
day
it.
me and him argue. Almost every day me and him arguing about that. I'm a brethren,
Oh
you know, man. I'm
God.
a
So
brethren, man.
I'm going to be banging my head against the wall, because he
You
seems
know,
like
man, I'm gonna come, man. You gonna come
Nah,
through.
I mean, I feel sorry for his missus. I feel sorry for his wife. It just seems like
Last week,
very
man,
argumentative.
last week I sent him a 4-page article saying about her. Cause I didn't know he called me and the two we start bust out a laugh. Me say, look, there's evidence right there. Cause him said to me, say, what kind of goal she scored for Jamaica? I'm show him some. I show the big goal what she scored against Mexico during the qualifying.
No, hold on. A liar tell Mr. Lee. Him never said that.
Listen to me now, man. Listen, me and him, listen to me.
We don't
if
believe that.
if he never got on a bed, would I force him to come on right now, man? I'm a pressure, you know, man. But me and him,
Hold on, Mr.
right there,
Lee.
sir.
You're telling me, Mr. Alabama. I'm getting a feedback, guys. Think you guys
Let's
might
just
have
see me and
to
him argue about that every time. But
hold on.
mm.
Hold on. I think 1, 2. I think I might have to mute your mic, Mr. Lee, until
Hold
you're
on,
ready.
I walk. All right. Let me stop now. Is it okay now? I stop.
1, 2. Yeah, I think I can hear myself when I talk, so I might have to
Well,
mute you and
let me
then.
mute.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. I think what I was saying, I can't believe what you're saying. So you're saying that Alabama asked you what kind of goal, what type of goal Bunny shot. I can't believe you asked that, because she's the leading top goal scorer, male and female.
No, he was saying that she not score no important goal for us and or any big goal for us. And I was telling him that
Joke,
during the qualification for us, during the World Cup qualification, and I said, to me, the biggest goal to score for Jamaica, right, and was that goal against Mexico in Mexico to knock Mexico out and carry us through to the World Cup, right? That was
Yeah.
that was you cannot get away from that. To score that header, excuse me, against Mexico in Mexico, will knock Mexico out. That goal is bigger than I can't find ways to put it. And so I sent him a 3-page article. Man, I gave him details with details, her this, her that. He called me next day and said, boy, bro, you really put everything together. You know, because yeah, I sent him something to shut him up. You know, but I still my brethren, man. I'm a brethren, man.
Well, I want to have a little chat with him because I want to understand how can you not like Bunny Shaw? I want to understand. No, I want to talk to
Because
him.
of what happened after the World Cup. It happened after the World Cup.
Me and him need
And
to have a conversation
what
then.
I said to him, there's two sides to that story. I said there was wrongs on both sides. And I gave him the wrongs on both sides. You know, I gave him the wrongs on both sides. That stuff could have been handled and fixed.
Yeah.
Yes, the girls were in their in their feelings because the coach got fired on this and blah blah blah. But the way it was handled, it was never handled properly.
Holy.
Everybody was in their feelings, right? It could have been
Mm.
handled. It could have been handled much better. But no, man. What am I like? Me can't wait for have it, man, because they got dead. Me can't wait. Me
I
can't wait
don't
for the
think he's
next
going
person
to
give him
come, you
facts.
know.
Can't wait for the next person give him facts.
Yeah, I want to understand. Sorry, I have to mute you there for a second again. I want to understand why he don't like Bunny Shaw. Really, I need to understand that because that's the first I'm hearing that someone don't like Bunny Shaw. So yeah, I want to understand where that dislike come from, you know?
Split. It's a split against the team right now. It's a split after the World Cup and the debacle. It's a split. Like a lot of people take the JFF side and some people take on their side. Oh yes, I can show you some articles right now by certain bloggers who send out who send out certain stuff about them. I swear to you.
No, me no want to see. Me no want to
No,
see.
what I'm telling you, it's a split. It's like a 50-50 split or a 60-40 split.
Yeah, oh, okay.
Yeah, I think you had left the YouTube space for a little bit, right? But that's one of the reasons why I don't like to bring up the subject, you know what I mean, of the girls and what happened, because it brings back old wound, because some people still actually blame them for everything that's happened without even knowing the full facts. They still,
Well,
you know what I mean, you blame them.
um, I have to you might have to mute your mic again, Mr. Lee. Whilst I was away, yes, I was away for a while, but I was still watching. This is how I know of some of this conversation that was being held around the Reggae Girls or just Jamaica football in general. So as I said, I've seen people in this space, content creators who are expected so much better off, make
All right.
some outrageous
What I'm
comments
gonna
and
do,
relate to
Crystal,
the
I'm gonna
Reggae
send
Girls.
you about 6 articles, and I want you go in and read the comment section and see
No,
what
no,
some.
no, no. That seems like it's going to tip me over the edge. It seems like it's going to tip me over the edge. I don't.
But that's what I'm trying to tell you. There's a bunch of anti-reggae girls, and it's coming from their own country. It's coming from, especially those in the island, right? It's coming, and I think most of it is this misconception. People know, right? You know, and I go down the middle. The girls were wrong about some things, and the way it was handled by the men was actually wrong. And you know, Cranky, I take just one thing from Cranky, and even him against even him, you know, is not too pleased how the girls handle it. But he said something which actually, you know, it resonate with me and it stick with me. The JFF have no soft skills, and the way it was done in a sense of just men just being men, and they don't want to hear the other side.
Yeah,
And so
interesting.
that's how I look at it, you know. And so, but Cranky was right. He was like, this is men dealing with females. You can't deal with females as how you deal with men, right?
Yeah.
So you have to find a way to deal with them or find somebody to deal with them. You just cannot talk to them the same way you talk to men. And that was true.
Yeah, it's an interest. I think this is probably a conversation that we'll probably have to take up another time. Until the color of a man's skin, he says, question though, what's the issue with Gilbert? Is it because he's locally bred?
Jesus Christ.
I mean, I wish you did ask this question earlier on. That's a broad question. Like, what do you mean? What's the issue? Like, are you saying that he should be the Reggae Girls head coach? Because me want to know if I should send you to Specsavers, you know. That's why
So
me
this is
ask
one
you
of them
that
people that
question
who
there.
think that we just against somebody because they were born in the island. And bro, if you are listening to the conversation from beginning, and if you go and read the headline and the article will come out, then you know what we're talking about. And no one is going, why? Mm-mm.
I don't know what he means by that. Are you saying that Gilbert is a good fit for the Reggae Girls?
No,
I
he's
don't know.
saying that
I
because
don't
he's locally
understand.
bred, because we only want foreign coach. And because he's
We never
locally
said.
bred,
Sure,
that's
we
why
never.
we're going after him. We're not
But
going
we've
after
not
him.
even. Are we even touched on Xavier Gilbert? Did we even? We're not even say who we want to be the next head
That's
coach.
why
We don't
some of
even
these
say
people
that.
laugh, yo. They laugh, man. Thank God.
I
That
don't
that
know.
that question, John.
Go on.
That question is like that question is like it tells you used to cut the cake in two. It's already doing what it's intended to do already. I mean, if you could have object certain words and use certain words, would have understand. But when you put certain word in certain context, we already know what you're getting at.
He says, "Tell me the pros and cons." Come on, come on. Until the color of a man's skin, like, come on. You don't know. Just come on. Don't do this. Don't do this. Don't do it. You don't need us to tell you the pros and cons of why
Who is he talking about? Xavier
Xavier
Gilbert?
Gilbert. Yeah,
But nobody's talking about him.
we don't understand.
What is he bro, explain yourself, please.
I might have to pause you again, Mr. Lee, right? Because every time I speak, I can hear my echo. I wanted, yeah, thank you.
I
Your
think
well,
I'm outside, that's why. I'm
one two,
outside
one
with
two.
the dog. You have the generator that might run on stuff. Okay, that's why.
Yeah, that's why. So your friend Alabama is back. He says, I had to return. I do
Let me
not
add him on.
dislike.
Tell him to come on. Tell him
He
to
said,
come on.
I do not dislike Miss Shaw. Make that clear as day. Oh,
Tell him to
that's
come
funny. I
on.
tell
Tell him to
lie.
come on.
He says,
Tell him to
okay.
come on.
He says, I did not like her being disingenuous. She said they weren't being paid. Also, trying to pick your own coach
Bala, you
is
have to come
crazy.
on and come face Crystal. Just come on for 5 minutes and come face her. Because she not
All
gonna
right,
be done to talk to you.
let me put the link in the comment section and see if he comes on.
No man,
He
come
probably
on,
won't.
man. I good youth,
Me
man.
not think he might come. But anyways,
No man, a genuine brother, man. Mr. Right now, if me drop dog, man, he must on a plane come pick me up, man. A good youth,
so,
man.
so guys, until the color of a man's skin said he wants us to answer whether we think Xavier Gilbert is a good coach. Oh, we are talking about Xavier Gilbert.
We will not answer that question. That's not what we're talking about, sir.
He says, y'all don't answer questions, huh? Okay, I move.
But that's not the topic, sir. That's not the topic. We're talking about something different. But if you want to know my answer to that, I do not know much about this coach. I know him coach Annette Garden. I know him coach a female, so I really can't say he's a good coach or a bad coach. So that's my answer. I don't know.
Okay, let me answer the question because I think you might have to log out and then log back in, Mr. Lee, because you're echoing a bit. Let me drop the comment. Yeah, I think he's gonna come back on, guys. Good shout until the color of a man's skin. Good shout, because I didn't even think of that. Okay, let me answer your question, right? Because you're tuned into the stream. So let me answer your question. To be honest with you, and it's not about local coach or overseas coach. From what I can see from Mr. Gilbert, I just don't think he's good enough. I just don't think he's good enough. He didn't sell it to me, you know. Maybe context is key, as with everything. Maybe it's due to circumstances, but I was not a fan of what I was seeing from him when he was in that interim position. It's nothing personal. He just didn't sell me, right? He just didn't sell me. Pick up yourself, Conrad. But thank you for tuning in, though. I appreciate you. I think it's the first time seeing you in my comment section. Hopefully tonight won't be the last. Conrad, big up yourself. Conrad said Burton can coach if anything go wrong. I think that's where we're heading, to be honest with you. I think I told you that Alabama isn't coming on. I told you he's not going to come on. I figured, but me and him, the fight will continue. I don't think me and him are ever going to be on the same page. because it seems like we're just miles apart. Football education. Go on, Mr. Beckford. I think I've got about 5 more minutes, guys, because my battery's on 4% at the moment.
Oh, not again.
What didn't he sell to you? What did you see? Be careful, you not running off a narrative. That's all I'm saying. And I don't know if you're familiar with my content, but I let the guys in the comment section answer that one. Me personally, I'm not tooting my own horn, but I do try to make my content as objective as possible. The majority of my content, I try to be balanced and objective. Of course, I'm not going to do that 100% of the time. I am human. I am potentially, sometimes my emotions have gotten the better of me. But for what it's worth, the majority of my content is objective. So you're probably, again, not familiar with my content. I don't take telling from people. Nobody's going to whisper in my ear and tell me how to produce my show, because I don't operate like that. I've seen Xavier Gilbert with my own eyes, and I'm just not a fan. I would not want Xavier Gilbert to be the permanent head coach for the Reggae Girlz. If he is, he gets my backing, but he wouldn't get my vote. But if he is appointed as the head coach, I have no choice but to back him. That's it. You know, I hope I clarify and I've answered your question. But yeah, I'm not being brainwashed to speak a different narrative towards Coach Gilbert.
let me chime in. I mean, honestly, I don't want him to coach my daughter if I did have a daughter, but that is my opinion, and I don't care who disagree. The thing is, we should just respect each other's opinion. It's a program where you can be opinionated or unbiased or biased, but at the same time, whether you're biased, opinionated or not, is your word against mine. I just have to respect it. We don't have to always agree. That's the thing. I was aware of Hubert interim time, and to be honest, when we did anything well or positive, it was more on the girls being more focused on their individual talent. But I didn't see that whom to say yes, this is the man for the job, and it's just plain and simple. If you're understudying and you're not performing, then why should I let you appoint you fully? Because you understanding, you should be showing qualities that will have me thinking and saying, yes, so this a man, you're the right man for the job. When we did the all along a search for people in that table. So it's just like that. If you don't feel the start, then why put him in fully in charge of the job? We want to see progress. We don't want when I put him in a position, it's more excuses than results. We don't want that. I mean, you're probably saying, what's the difference with him and Busby? It's just that the difference might be that this matter now put a lot of question in terms of whether we want him to remain or not, because it is far more sensitive than we thought. So that's the discussion was about initially, but nothing wrong with derailing sometime. But what we are saying is that it didn't show or prove to us, the fans, that he's ready for the job. Simple.
Sorry, I was on mute. Yes, of course, context is key. Yes, we know that he was coaching a team that wasn't the first team, but as I've said, piggybacking off what my guest has ended on, he just didn't sell it to us. He just was not the guy. I'm sorry, but he's just not levels. Like Xavier, sorry, but he's just not the guy. I'm sorry. You know, and I think guys, you're still on mute, but I'm on 2% now. I am on 2%, and it's 3 minutes to 5 a.m. Right. So don't say I don't stay for long with you guys. This has been going on for almost 3 hours now.
Yeah, man. All right. So you have 2% left, man. Yeah, man. We can pick this up again another time. Probably tomorrow. You probably won't see me until maybe Sunday evening. Yeah, because tomorrow I'm gonna be busy.
Likewise, I don't, unless the Jamaica Football Federation adds to what's been said, I don't think I'm doing a live stream later on because it is, I don't know if they're going to do it today, but if they do it, I will come on and speak about what's been said. But as I said, it's almost 5 a.m. in the morning. Alabama said he's not coming on. So we just have to leave that one as it is. But he said he's not coming on. So you know your
No,
friend
man.
better
He
than
might
me.
come on. He might come. Me go bring him on Monday when the show starts. I'm off Monday. I will carry him on
Yeah.
Monday. If I lift him up and put a mic in our hand, he might come on Monday. I explain himself. All right. So, junkie people, it was a lovely
You,
evening.
you
And
need to do
we
that.
cover
You
some
need to,
ground. Go ahead.
I said you need to do that.
Yeah, man. All
You
right,
need to
folks. You
bring
guys
him
have a
on.
good night.
You too. You too.
Yeah,
Enjoy
man.
the rest
All right,
of your
cool.
night.
All right. Good night, everyone. Big up to the comment section. You did great. I mean, we have to disagree to agree sometime, but anyways, good that you come drop in and you participate. So thanks for facilitating us again, and hope you enjoy the rest of your day. And we are now waiting to see what's the reaction from, because I think they are more reactionary than anything. So anyway, that is
And
my word. So
I have listen until the color of a man's skin. I'm familiar with your game. I like to give you a little round of applause. I'm familiar with your game. I like it. I like exactly what you're doing in the comment section. I don't mind. I'm familiar with your game is all that I'm saying. Before I forget my manners, if you're making your way home from work, I do hope that you make it home safe and unharmed, because making it through your doors is an underrated blessing. Guys, we've been speaking for almost 3 hours. I think I'm gonna let this one run off to 3 hours, but just extending my gratitude there. Big up you guys there in the comment section. Those of you who have kindly hit the like button, those of you who have also hit the subscribe button, a few of you have subscribed to the platform. I appreciate it. Also, extending my thank yous there to my panelists who have jumped on, my special guest tonight. We had Mr. Lee, and also we had Mr. Beckford as well. Mr. Beckford is still on the screen in front of me. Until the color of a man's skin, have a blessed day. Have a blessed day to yourself. As I said, I'm familiar with your game. Initially, I wasn't, but as you continue to speak, I managed to put 2 and 2 together. But big up yourself anyways. Healthy conversations is important. It definitely says that I definitely agree with that. Can't ask for objectivity but not being objective. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely spot on. Can't argue with that. But yes, guys, my live stream is coming to an end. Thank you so much for rocking with me for the best part of, let's call it 3 hours. Let's stick a pin in it and see how the Jamaica Football Federation reacts to the article in front of you. If you don't want to read the headline, this one is taken from the reputable Guardian, and it is as fresh as and new as ever, written and I should say published on the 1st of October, November, 1st of October, 1st of November, my apologies, 2024. And the headline says Jamaica FA falsely claims women's team coach was cleared of alleged sexual misconduct. Hubert Busby has returned to his former post with his employers saying he was made clear of allegations against him. That does not appear to be the case. If you want to go ahead and read that, just go ahead and search over on the Guardian. Might see you guys later on, might not. If not, I'll see you on Sunday. We can have another discussion on Sunday. We'll be looking at the performances there for the Reggae Girls and the Reggae Boys, respectively, at club level. And you know how it goes. Until next time, take care.
I'm John Barnes, and you're watching Talawa TV with Crystal Davis.